What is up, everybody? How is it going? Welcome to Filling in the Gaps, y'all. How's it going? How we doing? How we feeling? Let me just make sure I let everybody know that we are live. We are live, you guys. We are live. Has today not been crazy or what? Oh, let me change this. Has today not been crazy or what? Let me make sure that we notify everybody. Let everybody know that we are live in the Discord. We are live. Send now. Who do we got in the building, you guys? Let me shout out some people. Ronin's in the house. Misty was here. Dubs, Amy, Viking Woman. See, Tammy's in the house. This is Melissa. What's up? What's up? Who else is here? Jad, how's it going? Mac Dizzle, you're back. Welcome back. Ranch and Toes, thank you for becoming a member before the live even started. Glad to have you. A part of the inner circle. Valerie's here. Sid, I see you. What's up? Rach is here. Oh, we got a whole party here. You guys. What the hell happened today? It's crazy, you guys. I don't know. Look, obviously I'm not going to be the first person to break the news, right? But we have some big news, you guys. Hold on. I just see Coco Mom is in the house. Just gifted 10 memberships, you guys. So if you guys received a gifted membership from Coco Mom, please make sure you thank her in the chat. Damn, thank you, Coco Mom. That was out of nowhere. Oh, Lord, you guys. I finally get to play this because I've been wanting to play this for so long, you guys. I've been wanting to play this. I can finally play it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We got him, you guys. We got him. David, a.k.a. D4VD, has been arrested. And, oh, Miss Dizzle, thank you. Like there, look, matter of fact, I was actually getting a haircut right when all this news dropped, and I jumped the hell out of the barber chair, and he was freaking out. And I don't know, maybe my barber's in here because I told him I was going to go live, right? Oh, my God. But yeah, I was literally getting a haircut. I was getting a haircut when all this stuff was going on, and I was like, I don't know what to do, you guys. The Discord was blowing up. YouTube was blowing up. And I was literally shaking. I was like, oh my God, what is going on? What is going on? I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. One more time.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We got him. We got him, you guys. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that, Misty. Yep. TMZ has videos of the arrest. We have a few photos. Nice. That's what's up, David is guilty. We have some videos. We have some photos to share. So I don't know. Let's go ahead and take a look at one of the first videos that was put out, and this was by ABC7. So ABC7 was, or Fox was the first one that I heard. But let's go ahead and watch this video. Let's go ahead and share this one. We'll bring this one up to the stage. Let's go ahead and turn it down, you guys. The permission slip. Welcome. Jesse, how's it going? All right, you guys. This is from ABC, you guys. So let's go ahead and watch this. We're going to, look, you guys, I haven't streamed in a while, so I'm probably going to be on for a few hours. We're going to watch a few of the videos, read a few of the articles, and probably go check out Reddit, see what Reddit's been up to, because Reddit is on fire. Shout out to everybody on Reddit who's been keeping this case alive. And today is finally the day that we get justice for Celeste, and that bastard David has been arrested, right? That's right, y'all. All right, you guys, let's get into this video.
Major breaking news now. Detectives from the Los Angeles Police Department Robbery Homicide Division have arrested singer David Burke for the murder of Celeste Rivas. Burke is being held without bail. The case will be presented to the DA's office on Monday for filing consideration. You may remember, and we've been reporting, Rivas's body was found in the trunk of David's car in September of last year. She was only 14 years old. Again, this breaking news just into our newsroom. We're working to get more information, and we'll continue to follow this story.
We do want to go ahead and bring in now ABC's Alex Stone on the phone to speak more about this case. Alex, you've been following this from the very beginning. What can you tell us as far as this breaking information goes this afternoon?
Well, Mark and Michelle, yeah, sources are telling us that this is based off of evidence that the LAPD was able to gather and put together and now is going to be presenting to the LA County DA for a filing.
So the LAPD has gathered evidence, right? And they said we are not waiting for this grand jury to be finished. We don't even know if they're done, right? But the LAPD said we have enough evidence to arrest this guy.
Decision on Monday. This was not from any kind of indictment. We know that
What's up, gamer for
the case
Nintendo?
had gone to a grand jury. It was expected that there might be an indictment coming sometime soon. We were thinking in the last couple of months or in the next few weeks. This was not from that. We are told that this is evidence that they have been compiling going back to when her body was found last September, that now they
7 months, you guys. It has taken 7 months. Let us not forget how long it has taken for any action, any movement, any notifications, any articles, any updates from the LAPD or the DA, right? It has been 7 months since Celeste's body was discovered in the front trunk of David's Tesla. So 7 months sure as hell does feel like a long ass time. I don't know about you guys, right? Arizona said that's too long. Yeah, absolutely. 100% it's too long. I agree with you 100%.
have reached a point where they believe they have probable cause, and it's gone to the DA.
All right. And so a lot of people wondering, you know, so many things seem to point to him. Why did it take them this long to make the arrest? We know they're pretty methodical about how they do things, but
Yeah, it's a good question. One of the things that they were waiting on, Mark, was the cause of death, and that there was difficulty reaching that cause of death. Not to get too graphic, but
First Liberties podcast says that may mean this wasn't for the homicide, since the grand jury is investigating that. This arrest is for something else. So do you think that the grand jury is still meeting First Liberties? I'm curious what your thoughts are.
her body was in multiple parts. It was in, we know from court documents, 2 different body bags in the front trunk of that Tesla when her body was found. So it was difficult for them.
Wait, I always got to make sure I stop and shout out anybody who supports the channel. Coco Mom again gifted 10 more memberships. So if you guys received a membership from Coco Mom, please make sure you thank her in the chat, you guys. And everybody who just received a gifted membership, welcome to the inner circle, you guys.
Medical examiner to determine the cause of death. So they had to prove or be able to show to the DA that she was murdered, that it wasn't something else where, you know, let's say that she overdosed and then somebody freaked out and put her body in that trunk. They have to be able to prove that it was murder. They now believe that they can do that.
all right.
Yeah, we also know, you know, David, as many entertainers do, had an entourage of people around him at times. I know some other individuals have been.
Ranjito, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. We appreciate it. I have a feeling David's arrest date is probably the same date Celeste was murdered. Oh, what a great point, huh? So I'm curious though, because I think in a TMZ article, they had mentioned that he was arrested on Tuesday. So that would have made it the 14th. Ranchitos. Very good eye. That good point. Oh my God. Could that have been exactly 7 months? Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Damn, a year. That would have been a year. That is so crazy to think of.
Considered as drivers of this vehicle or either around. Any information on possibly how this could impact other people?
Wait, so when was Coachella? Okay, TMZ was wrong about the Tuesday, so he was arrested today. So the footage that was out is from today. Okay, TMZ did change to Thursday. Thank you, Gamer for Nintendo, for clarifying that. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good. Good. Okay, so Coachella was April 11th and 18th, or the 2 days that he performed at Coachella. This mysterious trip to Santa Barbara sure sounds fishy.
David was around that also may have been around Celeste Rivas?
Michelle, we don't know yet, and if there are any other arrests that are going to be coming in this
And
case. We know that.
Chloe, our legal correspondent, said Conlon spoke to the jail about him not being in the system yet, and they confirmed he quite literally was just arrested. All right, you guys, we're going to have to wait and see.
There were a number of witnesses who came and testified in front of the grand jury, again, that this was not an indictment, that this is probable cause that the LAPD put together and moved forward on. But during the grand jury proceedings, which are secret as they're ongoing, that there were a number of other people who came forward, those who are close to David, friends of David, family members of his were subpoenaed to go in front of the grand jury. So if there are other arrests that could be coming, we don't know. But as of right now.
Oh, type a 1 in the chat if you think that there are other arrests coming, or do you think David is going to be the only one? Type a 1 in the chat if you think more people will be arrested. Type a 2 if you don't think anybody else will. That's crazy.
He is the only one that we know of under arrest.
All right, singer David under arrest.
Alex Stone, I see some ones.
Thank you.
Miss Dizzle and Swavey say 2. Uh-oh. Okay, so for those of you guys that typed 1 in the chat, I want to know who else could be involved, right? We've had our suspicions, right? There's been talks of the manager, Rob Morgenroth, right? People are saying that he plays a role. Some people still think that no matter or despite him trying to clear his name on Instagram, right? Some people will say, like David is guilty right now, says Neil Langston, right? But then we've seen family members, potentially his mother, come to his defense on comments on the internet, saying that he had no involvement. He didn't move the Tesla. And you know what? Speaking of the Tesla, right? You know, you guys know that we went and we found the Tesla in at the auto body shop. But I'm curious, now that this is out, is SF going to tell us who drove that Tesla? Because I want to know. I drove a total of like 4 hours to get to this auto body shop to find this Tesla. I just want to know who the last person was to drive it, especially on July 29th.
We have more breaking.
Oops. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Let's go see what NBC said.
That breaking news at 6. Singer David has been arrested in connection with the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas.
Wait, type a 1 in the chat because Law and Crime put out a video. Let me know if you guys want to see that first. We can go ahead and jump to that if you guys want to. Type a 1 in the chat if you guys want to skip this video and jump right into Law and Crime. Or if you guys want to watch this, type a 2. Y'all let me know. You guys are going to control the show tonight. Ownership has changed, right? That's true. So 1, we're going to jump over to Law and Crime. All right, you guys decide. You guys are deciding. David needed help, says Raina. It's very possible. All right, so you guys decided. So we're going to go ahead and jump over to Law and Crime because they just put out a video about an hour ago, right? So maybe when other people were covering this story earlier, you know, this video wasn't out yet. So let's go ahead and watch this really quick. We'll come back to it. We're going to be here for a while, you guys. This stuff is crazy.
David has been arrested in connection to the murder of...
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry, I just had to do this one more time. We got him.
14-year-old Celeste Rivas, according to the LAPD. This is a case that stretches back more than 2 years to when she was last seen alive. Her decomposed body found in the trunk of David's Tesla late last year. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. All right, let's get to this breaking.
Coco Mom, just want to give you a shout out. You just you sent over a Cash App donation, so I want to thank you for that. Thank you so much, Coco Mom. You are something else, Coco Mom.
News coming in right now from Los Angeles, a bombshell announcement by the LAPD. I want you to take a look right here. This is the post that was put out by the public information officer with the Los Angeles Police Department on social media announcing the singer, known as David, had been arrested by homicide detectives in LA, quote, for the murder of Celeste Rivas. Now, David, his real name is David Burke. He is
Can you guys do me a favor? Can we all drop a purple heart for Celeste in the chat? We have an emoji specifically for Celeste, right? Specifically for this day that we can get justice for Celeste. So if you guys can drop one of those hearts in the chat for me, you guys, I'd appreciate it so much.
now being held without bond, and he hasn't been charged as of yet. The LAPD says that his case will be presented to the DA on Monday for filing consideration.
Abraham,
we're going to go over the process
no.
here in just a moment.
Look at all
This
those
is a case that has taken months to get to this point. I know so many of you have been following this, and now it seems like the next step, a major step, is still something that's going to take some time before we learn a lot of information about.
Chloe says, I do not smell no insanity, please. Sounds like his lawyers intend to fight this hard. They told Conlon he did not murder Celeste and was not the cause of death. Ooh. Those are some fighting words. Those are some fighting words, you guys.
This case, and we'll be talking to former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani about that here in just a moment. But as we focus now on this announcement, it may feel like a long time coming because David was announced as a suspect in November of 2025. Now, before we get into what will happen next, I do want to get you up to speed on this.
What did he just say?
Here in just a moment. Was announced as a suspect
Oh,
in November
he was
of
announced as a
2025. Now, before we get into what will happen next, I do want to get you up to speed on this case because it is one that has been going on in some ways months, in other ways years. According to the LAPD, this all started in September of 2025, and that is when officers responded to an impounded lot in Hollywood after there were reports of a foul odor coming from a vehicle, a Tesla. Now, that vehicle, it had been towed days earlier after it was found on a street, abandoned, it seemed, in Los Angeles. Now, police say that vehicle, that Tesla, it was registered to David Burke. And many people in the music community know him by just one name, David, D4VD. Now, when detectives searched that car, they found a body. And that body was later identified as a 14-year-old girl, her name, Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Her body was in the front storage area of the Tesla. That's like the trunk of the vehicle. And it was in a state of decomposition, law enforcement said. Investigators have said that Celeste may have been dead for weeks before she was discovered. The teen's mom told investigators that she was last seen and heard from in April of 2024. So here we are in April of 2026 with David now under arrest in connection to her murder. The last time she was seen alive, according to her mom, all the way back roughly 2 years ago.
Wait, what? Seen by her parents or seen alive?
To her mom, now under arrest in connection to her murder. The last time she was seen alive, according to
her parents said the last time that she was seen alive was almost 2 years ago. You guys, does that make any sense to you guys? This is crazy.
Mom, all the way back roughly 2 years ago. Her mom also added another point about her daughter, and it was that she had a boyfriend named David. Now, by late 2025.
How do you have a 14-year-old daughter? I'm not even going to call her a runaway, right? How do you have a 14-year-old daughter, still a minor, and you haven't seen her, let alone alive, but you haven't seen her in 2 years? What the fuck are you doing as a parent? I'm sorry, you guys. You guys know the passion that I've had for this case and the resolution to finally see this day come, right? It's terrible, you guys. 2 years. 2 years? How many of you guys are okay with that, right? Because this shit, that's wild.
Sources were telling ABC News that David was being considered a suspect in the case, but no charges had been filed. Yet behind the scenes, a grand jury had been hearing evidence in the case, including Burke's reported travel to the Santa Barbara area of California during the spring of 2025 and a search of the Hollywood Hills property where he was reportedly staying, and reports of a high heat burn cage found at that location. Then we go to January of this year, 2026.
Tammy says, I have 5 girls and there is absolutely no way, right? But all I can say for David is,
you're done. You're done. Sorry, but you're done.
David's alleged close friend, a man named Neil Langston, was arrested in Montana for failing to appear as a...
That was my mom's birthday gift on January 23rd. We all found out. We dropped that bombshell that Neil Langston was arrested, right? But we'll see what comes up, whatever turns out with this guy.
Witness in a Los Angeles grand jury investigation. And a week after that, Langston was spotted entering a Los Angeles courthouse and reportedly testified before the grand jury. But since then, for the most part, frankly, crickets in this case. No real developments, of course, until now. Joining us now to talk about this breaking news, former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani, president of West Coast Trial Lawyers. Always great to have you on Law and Crime. Big story out of Los Angeles tonight. Just what's your reaction? Because we have been covering this for so long about David's arrest.
Chris, my reaction is better late than never. I think this was something that we've all been expecting. When a body is found decomposing in the frunk of your Tesla, and there has been a young girl who's been missing for quite some time, and there's plenty of evidence that she ran away with you or a member of your entourage. I think there was a lot of evidence here pointing to David. And really the question was, what really took so long? And I think my initial reaction is, I live and work in LA. I respect law enforcement, that things can move slowly here. But I think this investigative grand jury, I think, really is the answer. I think the DA wanted to lock in some members of David's inner circle to make sure that they cooperate, they don't go sideways at trial. And I think that's what they were waiting on before they ended up arresting.
So the announcement that came from the LAPD's PIO account says he's been arrested in connection to the murder of Celeste Rivas. And then it says that he's being held without bond. And then the case is going to be reviewed by the DA's office on Monday, or it goes in front of the DA's office on Monday. Like, if you can just walk us through the process of how... I'm
going to pause right here, okay? Because Mac Dizzle had a comment earlier that just made me laugh. And I just want to... I'm going to play this for you guys really quick because I want to see how this is going to play out for this guy. You guys remember this? Oops, hold up.
On the pavement, I'ma shoot him where he laying. I'ma shoot him while he down. Take his body hit the ground. I'ma murder all my friends. Call me Melly in the town. I'm not getting indicted.
Well, that might be true, you guys. He won't get indicted. That could possibly be very true.
Indicted. I'm shooting him on sight, and what? He gonna pull up in a. He gonna pull up and deny it. I might testify in court. Hey, Your Honor, I did not buy it. I did not even try it. I just wanted to rely it.
Let's listen to that one more time.
The pavement. I'ma shoot him where he laying. I'ma shoot him while he down. Take his body hit the ground. I'ma murder all my friends. Call me Melly in the town. I'm not getting indicted. I'm shooting him on sight, and what? He gonna pull up in a. He gonna pull up and deny it. I might testify in court. Hey, Your Honor, I did not buy it. I did not even try it. I just wanted to rely it. I'm on the page.
Okay. We're going back.
how that works, as opposed to them saying tonight.
What do you guys think of that video? You guys... Oh, Your Honor, I did not even buy it. I don't buy it. Yep, that's right. He did say YNW Melly.
He has been charged with this, and he's going to make his first appearance tomorrow.
Well, typically, when you're talking about the DA, it's a reactive case. It's not like this. Law enforcement, they arrest someone, they prepare a report, that file lands on the DA's desk, and there's a charging DA that makes a decision. It's a little bit different in this case because it's more of a proactive investigation. Obviously, Celeste Rivas has been missing for quite some time and has been dead for also quite some time. So you have this case that has been worked on for more than 6 months.
I really hope somebody will play that for him. Maybe, you know, one of the police officers there where he's at. I think, where's he at? He's probably at LA County Jail. You guys think he's at LA County Jail? That's where he's at, right?
Now, I mean, I think if I recall correctly, Celeste's body was found in September. Yeah. We all saw the video of the car being impounded and that search.
You let
and of
know.
course, law enforcement executed search warrants at David's home. Again, months and months ago. So this is the type of case that isn't just a file that lands on some DA's desk. This is a case that is being directed by prosecutors at the district attorney's office. They convene this investigative grand jury. And we know that a grand jury has two functions. In most states and at the federal level, their function is to indict, but it also has an investigative function. They have subpoena power, so they can subpoena people, witnesses, they can subpoena information and documents. And that's what the grand jury was doing in this case. So it seems to me that the prosecution has this all.
Look at Foxy in the chat. Foxy in the chat just making up her own lyrics. Hey.
Buttoned up right now. This is the type of case they're reacting to. This is a case where they think we not only have enough probable cause to get that arrest warrant and get past a preliminary hearing, but we have enough to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt to a jury at trial.
Do you think that this came as a surprise to David tonight, this arrest?
I think given how long it's taken, maybe folks have forgotten about it. But obviously, there's been a lot of attention on this case and frankly, a lot of negative media attention. Again, I sit here in LA and a lot of folks are asking, what is LAPD doing? How could a young girl be missing for so long? How could her teacher give an interview saying that she ran off with someone named David? How could her body be found in the trunk of a vehicle? I mean, even if it was an accident, that in and of itself is potentially a crime. So why haven't any arrests been made? And I think really now we're going to know the answer very soon. I think the information is going to come out. We're going to have a lot more of the evidence, whether it's witness testimony, cooperators, whether it's electronic evidence.
La Mesa Filipino Food Club 6202 said, "This is the community I've learned the most from regarding this case. Happy that we're on the right track for justice for sweet Celeste." I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You know, we've put a lot of work in, you know, just kind of keeping everybody updated. And when this case went quiet, when nothing was going on, we still kept her name alive, right? As we always will, right? And think about it, you guys. This is really just the beginning of everything. Right, we have a whole bunch more to see going on.
Cell phones, social.
This is gonna be a while, you guys. So sit back.
Media. There's a lot of people watching. Social media sleuths, detectives. You know, they.
Shout out to Rona for celebrating 3 months as a member. Hey, let's go Inner Circle fam.
Follow that digital footprint, right? And they've seen, you know, pictures, images on social media of the two seemingly together. And I think all those are sort of bricks in the wall that are going to eventually be the reason that David is convicted in this case.
And beyond that too, I mean, I think when you think about the LAPD, like celebrities, it's not a big deal for them in the way that it might be for other police departments across the country. When you look at the timeline, you know, yeah, the case like certainly has these elements that we followed the developments along the way, but how much did the celebrity of David add to the timeline it took for him to be arrested in connection to this? And we'll see what they specifically accuse him of.
Well, it's interesting. The celebrity factor, people think it helps. I don't necessarily think it helps being a celebrity in LA. In fact, it draws more attention to it. I mean, obviously, look, you know, the case I kind of give the example of recently, she was just sentenced, Matthew Perry, right? He was involved in a drug-related death. He was a victim. But the fact that, you know, the Ketamine Queen, Jasmine Song, killing Matthew Perry, that, and again, I'm not naive, that case was treated differently than the 2019 case when she killed someone with ketamine. So, the celebrity factor draws attention to it. The reality is we're talking about the case here on Law and Crime because it's David. And, there are many young girls that go missing, and I'm not talking about it. I'm not asked to speak about it. And it doesn't make it any different. It doesn't make it any less right. There's women that are trafficked, they're sexually abused, they're victims of violence, they're even murdered, hundreds, thousands every single day. So I think the celebrity factor probably ended up drawing more attention to it, both law enforcement and prosecution attention to the case because of who David is.
Right. And even when you think of LA, I mean, we've talked about Nick Reiner recently, very different circumstances in that case. But I mean, just the amount of attention, the amount of cameras at court when he makes an appearance.
And if you guys remember, right, when the Celeste Rivas Hernandez case was really, really hot, this Celeste Rivas's case really was kind of just shut out of the public eye and the media because of the Nick Reiner case, right? That night that he went crazy and off both of his parents. That was literally the turning point for the Celeste Rivas Hernandez case, because that was a point where we really stopped hearing any kind of mainstream media report on this.
Just different than other families that have.
Shout out to Rona for a $5 super chat. Rona said, "Some call me David. My arrest was belated. Am I really in cuffs or am I just faded?" There you go. Damn, Rona, that was good.
Dealt with issues like that. When you look at this case going forward, I remember Neil Langston, one of David's friends, he gets arrested for not cooperating with this grand jury. What stands out to you just about the way, from at least on the outside, it seems that prosecutors have been going about this?
Yeah, think about that case. If I recall correctly, here's someone who refused to testify before the grand jury, and the DA's office went out of state to get an arrest warrant to bring him back to California. I mean, that's how seriously they're taking this case, if I recall correctly. So this isn't any other case. This isn't any other runaway. This isn't any other young girl who is the victim of violence. I mean, this case has been treated differently, as it should. Look, I wish LAPD had unlimited.
Oh, shoot. We got other MCs in the chat, you guys. We got Mac Dizzleson said, "So dumb, couldn't hide it. My one brain cell, I fried it. Insane plea, gonna try it. Neo left me crying. Higgity har." Y'all are going hard in the chat. Y'all are crazy.
Resources and
Everyone
time
got
to
bars.
go after all
Everyone
these
got bars
cases,
except for
all
Mojo.
these young girls. Their lives matter, and it's sad that this is unfortunately a tale that's all too common. Obviously, we don't know what happened here. We don't know if it was an accident. She was murdered intentionally. She overdosed. She was trafficked. I mean, there's all sorts of speculation out there. I don't know exactly what happened, but what we do know is this is a young girl that was missing for quite some time.
Absolutely.
She had run away at least once before, and it took a very long time to find her. So I think during that time period, there's going to be a lot of evidence. Obviously, we've seen some of the video evidence the last time she was seen. Again, I expect there to be a lot of digital evidence. It's going to be a strong case, I think, when it's all said and done.
And when it comes to just kind of how the mechanics of the whole situation works out. So if he's arrested tonight, he's being held without bond. He hasn't specifically been charged with anything. And then you have, on Monday, it's going to go in front of the DA. Like, how are you able to hold him for that long a period of time, even through the weekend potentially?
So yeah, these Thursday arrests oftentimes end up with a Monday arraignment because of the time period. Typically,
Viking woman said David has them real bars. Ooh, David has them real bars. Uh-oh.
You have about 48 hours to be brought before a judge, but it ends up being the next court day. So that's why the initial appearance will likely be on Monday, where David will be arraigned on the charges.
Preacher, thank you for becoming a member. One of our mods became a member of the show. Well, thank you, Preacher, for supporting. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Those charges will be read aloud in court. Expect his lawyer. I think he already has a lawyer based on some of the statements that were made last year. Expect his lawyer to enter a not guilty plea. And then the process starts. Again, if it's a grand jury indictment, which is not typical, there won't be a preliminary hearing. But usually here in LA, the district attorney proceeds by a complaint and a preliminary hearing. And again, just because there's a grand jury, I believe it's just an investigative grand jury. They'd have to convene another grand jury to indict. And I don't think that's what they're going to do. Typically what they do is in LA, they charge on a complaint. Then after some period of time, there has to be a preliminary hearing. And at that preliminary hearing, the judge determines whether there's enough probable.
I don't know what to put here, so I put this name. Absolutely 100% true. David was arrested today. I'm going to play it again.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Cause to move forward to a full-blown jury trial. So the DA will present some limited evidence, usually through a handful of law enforcement witnesses, and this process is going to get started.
And that was kind of my next question, because we don't know specifically the cause of death. At this point, we know the state at which her body was found, sadly, but then we also don't know what the charges specifically he's going to face. How much may we learn, knowing how much in LA and in California when it comes to, I think of a state like Florida, and you can find the probable cause document online. How much might we learn on Monday if that's when he's arraigned on something?
Well, I think we're going to learn a lot. Obviously, the nature of the charges. So you have first-degree intentional murder, you have special circumstances, you have second-degree murder, you have manslaughter if it's an accident. Obviously, there might be charges related to moving the body. Are there going to be potential sex charges? I mean, I think that would be obviously very important. I mean, again, we're just guessing right now.
Sure.
There's no death penalty here in
Thank
California.
you, Cindy. Do me a favor, you guys. If you guys are still watching, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, you guys. Hit that like button. And if you guys haven't subscribed, do me a favor, subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free, right? And all you're trying to do is help me get this video out into the algorithm. That's all I'm going to ask you guys. Hit that like button, you guys.
California, there's been a moratorium. We haven't had an execution in 20 years. So don't expect to see the death penalty regardless of what the charges are. But again, first degree intentional premeditated murder, special circumstances, if there's any type of enhancements, that's all going to be very telling. And look, it's just a matter of days before this evidence comes out.
And when you think about moving past Monday, and again, this has been a case that has developed, it feels like very slowly and very much under wraps outside of the reporting that we've seen. Like after Monday, depending on what the charges are, like what does the timeline potentially look like for a prosecution of David?
Well, it's going to move quickly. And obviously, it's David's right to a speedy trial. And typically what you see is...
Yeah, Ranch and Toast busting a flow down here says, in the back of my cell, Bubba kissed me, and I don't regret it.
The defense waives their right. They want to get the discovery. They want to get all the evidence. So what is typical is the defendant will waive time. That means they'll review the discovery and they'll see how they can challenge this case. Now, if you're looking at murders, and again, I'm assuming this is a murder case because he's being held without bond. I mean, typically you have three types of defenses. One, it wasn't me, right? So you got finger pointing, it was an accident, or I didn't intend to do it, right? So something happened that was something less than murder, or some sort of self-defense. Now, obviously, Celeste Rivas, by all accounts, is a pretty small young girl. I would be surprised if there's a self-defense argument, just like Nick Reiner, right? Surprised if you see self-defense in that type of case. His parents are a lot older, they're in their bedrooms. But typically, if you're seeing like what is the defense going to argue, they either argue identity, they argue intent, wasn't premeditated, it was an accident, something along those lines. It was manslaughter, heat of passion, legal insanity. You start attacking intent, or you start putting up some legal defense like self-defense. But again, I would be very surprised if it was self-defense in this case.
And I know we were talking about Neil.
Self-defense. I don't know. You guys saw that Tesla, right? We posted photos. We went out to the auto body shop and we found the Tesla after it was towed, or after it was purchased privately, right? It was, I don't know. Who we don't know who bought it, right? But obviously the title was changed. And somebody bought it the day before it was going to go on auction. And we found that Tesla, you guys, and we'll show you photos of it shortly. We'll show you how beat up that Tesla was.
Langston just a short time ago, but you think about witnesses in this case and who may have already talked to law enforcement, what type of information that law enforcement may have. We don't know what those conversations were like, but what are those conversations typically like in a general sense as a prosecutor when you have someone who might be a friend of David, might be a friend of someone who's now going to face some pretty serious charges, about getting that person in line with what you want as a prosecutor?
Well, Chris, I sort of cut my teeth on drug trafficking cases, and when you're dealing with any criminal organization, and I'm not saying David's entourage is a criminal organization, but what you want to do is you want to lean on the less culpable people in the organization. Maybe someone was, for instance, giving Celeste Rivas drugs. Maybe someone wasn't involved in the murder, but they had access to the Tesla. It seems like a lot of people did. What you want to do is lean on them and make sure they flip against the most culpable person in the organization. It's really prosecution 101. And what makes some of these charges strong, let's say you have a conspiracy charge, conspiracy to commit murder. You can really have nothing to do with actual murder, but if you're engaged in overt acts and furtherance of the conspiracy, and let's say it's some larger conspiracy, let's say it's a trafficking conspiracy, well, the next thing you know, you could be substantively on the hook for Celeste Rivas's death, even if you didn't actually kill her. So there's a lot of potential time that other individuals may be facing as co-conspirators, accessories, if they're aiding and abetting. And what you want to do is lean on them, make sure to get the information you want, make sure it's truthful, make sure they're going to cooperate. That's what that.
So, really quick too, I want to go over a post that Lauren Conlin put out because she received a statement from David's attorneys, Blair Burke, Marilyn Bednarski, and Regina Peters, who issued the following statement. Okay, this came out of about an hour, maybe 2 hours ago. Roughly around 2 hours ago. And this is the statement from David's attorneys. It says, "Let us be clear. The actual evidence in this case will show that David Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez, and he was not the cause of her death. There has been no indictment returned by any grand jury in this case, and no criminal complaint filed. David has only been detained under suspicion, and we will vigorously defend David's innocence." How do y'all feel about that? And Then I Rock just gifted 5 memberships. Shout out to And Then I Rock. Who received these gifted memberships? Let's see. We got new members of the inner circle, y'all. Oh, C Blue, you just got one. Nini, Ozzy, Personal Ace, Mom B. Thank you so much. And Then I Rock. We appreciate that. Welcome everybody to the inner circle, y'all. How do you guys feel about that statement? Sounds like David's attorneys are really going to fight this tooth and nail, and they're not letting up. So they are maintaining David's innocence in all of this. That's a great question, right? J Rabbit, who put her in the car then? Right? Because she couldn't have crawled into that front by herself. She couldn't have dismembered her own body, right? He was not the cause of her death. They may be fighting a felony murder charge, which is different from a first or second degree charge.
Grand juries for testifying before the grand jury, lock them in, so that way when you move forward against the principal, the person that you think is the most liable, the most culpable, seems like it's David here, that you have those witnesses locked in, because otherwise, guess what? They're going to be the next people to be charged and arrested.
And then just lastly, I mean, I'm sure for whether you're a detective on this case or a prosecutor who's been, kind of watching the evidence come in and you're thinking about what the charges could be, emotionally, what is the moment like tonight, knowing that David is now in custody and you've hit a new level in this investigation in this case?
Yeah, certainly for law enforcement and the prosecution, I think there is going to be.
Wow, is this actually, is this like the newest part goal? That she's going to get that song removed entirely? Because I think it was just re-uploaded, right? And maybe potentially may have had his part removed. Not entirely sure. But I know it was recently put back on Spotify, so they're taking it back down. Interesting.
This burden lifted, because again, there have been folks like me. I've been very critical of law enforcement. I said, what's going on? This doesn't make any sense to me. Why hasn't an arrest been made? If it's not David, who is responsible for this? So I think there is that relief. But now the real work starts, because now you have a lawyer on the other side, and David has money and he's already lawyered up. At least that's my understanding. That's going to fight this tooth and nail. And because there's no death penalty in California, and because you're not going to give a discount on this case, you're not going to give David, if he really was involved in sort of recruiting or enticing this girl, potentially kidnapping her and killing her, you're going to give her give him anything less than life.
That's
So there's
bad.
no real deal to be had here. There's no death penalty to take off the table. So this is the type of case that's very likely going to go all the way to jury trial. That's just the reality of it.
Guys, we are going all the way. So the sniper better not let this one, better not let him off the hook. None of us. Oh my Lord. If they let him off this time, this is going to be like OJ 2.0.
So, but if you're talking about the people that I've been thinking of, it has to be Celeste Rivas's family. I can't imagine what they've been going through all these years. Your young girl goes missing and then she's found dead and you really don't have answers. So hopefully the family can finally get some answers for everything that they've suffered through.
No, very well put. Former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani, president of West Coast Trial Lawyers. Big breaking news tonight out of Los Angeles. Thank you as always for being with us on Law & Crime.
Of course, Chris. Thanks for having me as always.
All right, just before we go, I just want to reiterate this news once again and what we know at this point. We know that David has been arrested in connection to the murder, and murder is the word that is being used here by the Los Angeles Police Department in connection to the murder of Celeste Rivas. And this is key, as he's being held without bond right now, we don't know what charges he's going to face, but this case will be presented to the district attorney's office in LA on Monday, and we'll continue to follow this closely. That will do it for this episode of On the Case, presented by Law & Crime. Subscribe to us on YouTube and Spotify, and we're also streaming on Peacock. I'm Chris Stewart. We'll see you next time.
And so after the news broke, right, TMZ went all the way, and I don't know how they got this information or how they found this footage, but they have the footage of his arrest. So we're going to play some of this footage that we found, or that TMZ posted, that we got a hold of. But here is the video of him actually getting arrested. Let me make sure that we can play this. Hold on. Let's share. Ooh, Close said, I predict this case is going to be all about the burden of proof. His attorneys don't have to prove anything, but the state does. That's a very good point. They do not, the defense does not have to prove anything at all, right? This is going to be, they were going to be in it for the long run, you guys. Let's go ahead and watch this video really quick, though. This is footage of David getting arrested in the Hollywood Hills, and apparently this was somewhere in the Hollywood Hills off of the Sunset Strip. Very curious where this was. I messed up. I should have played you the other video first, but we'll finish. That's his ass getting arrested. Finally. Finally. And let me go ahead and play this one, because this one had me cracking up. Like, this video that I'm about to show you guys, you can hear David. You can actually hear him talking in this video, which I found very weird, because when you hear the audio, you know 100% that that's his voice. If you know David's voice, right? Delete everything. You know that this is David. So here, let's listen to this one. A new angle, you guys. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm not sharing it. Let's share this really quick. Wind it. Oops, there.
It's gonna obscure my view from the gate.
It's gonna obscure my view from the gate. If you try to run or you try to resist, you are going to get hit with non-lethal.
If you try to run, we're cleaning our premises. You will get bit. I got you. All right, so the gate is locked. You want to open the gate?
Is that him? Is that like him right there? Is this him?
It's gonna obscure my view from the gate.
He's got his hands raised. Okay. Oh shit, that's what it is. Okay, hold on really quick. Let me go back. I don't know. Can you guys see this? I don't know if you guys can see, but like these two little peach things, these are his hands, and then this is his head. He's got his hands raised above his head. So you can see that he's like walking up with his hands up, saying that The gate's locked, and it's obscuring my view.
It's gonna obscure my view from the gate. It's gonna try to run, or if you try to resist, you will get hit with my feet doors. You're gonna hurt. I got you. If you try to run, we have canine on premises, and you will get bit. I got you. All right, so the gate is locked.
This guy is so nonchalant about it. Like he knew his time was coming, right? This is crazy. What's up, Felicia?
Sir, open the gate. It's gonna obscure my view from the gate. It's gonna try to run, or if you try to resist, you will get hit with my feet doors. You're gonna hurt. I got you. If you try to run, we have canine on premises, and you will get bit. I got you. All right, so the gate is locked.
Preacher just upgraded his membership to classified. Hey, thank you so much, Preacher. This, so Felicia, this video is of David at the house that he was staying in the Hollywood Hills. So one new thing that we did learn and confirmed, right, is that David was not in Texas. I know a lot of people have been disputing where has David been hiding at. And it looks like he may have, well, not may have, he was hiding in plain sight. He's been in LA the entire time, you guys. That's some shit.
It's gonna obscure my view from the gate. It's gonna try to run, or if you try to resist, you will get hit with my feet doors. You're gonna hurt. I got you. If you try to run.
Damn, this neighbor probably got paid, right? TMZ, they're like, I need to make sure that I got this footage the day that it happens because I'm selling it to TMZ to get that fat payday.
All right, so the gate is locked. You want to open the gate? Sir, open the gate. It's gonna.
I'm gonna go ahead and give anybody an opportunity to come on to the show if they want to just, you know, share their thoughts on everything. Yeah, so Misty, we're definitely, you know, we're looking into it. We've got a few sources that were giving us some pointers, but I don't know, it may not lead to anything, right? I know earlier that I mentioned in Rabbit's chat that he may have possibly been staying at a doctor's home, but that's not confirmed, right? That was just a lead that me and my team had received and we were working on it. But yeah, the connection that lead had was just pretty crazy. So obviously this is not confirmation, so take that with a grain of salt. So if I find anything out or if I have any confirmation on anything, I'll definitely let you guys know. I'll definitely keep you updated. But, you know, this was kind of playing along the lines of him potentially staying or being in rehab, right? There was talks about him potentially being in rehab because apparently that's something that Blair Burke likes to do with her clients, put them in rehab, keep them out of the public eye. So, you know, if I get any updates on that, I will definitely let you know. Let's see, because SF had a lot to say today, right? He actually put a tweet out earlier about 10 hours ago, and he was basically saying 7 months since Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found dismembered in the front trunk of David's Tesla, and still no charges, no press conference, no answers. Right? And then he shared something, but then 4 hours ago, he made this post and said, finally, David has been arrested for the murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. It appears he was not indicted, but rather arrested by the LAPD, and charges will be sent to the DA by Monday for formal charging. More to come. Let's see. Then he shared what the LAPD PIO had put out. And I guess this was the official source, you know, that was breaking news everywhere. LAPD put out a tweet that said, detectives from the Los Angeles Police Department Robbery Homicide Division have arrested David Burke, 21-year-old resident of Los Angeles, for the murder of Celeste Rivas. Burke is being held without bail. he's gonna enjoy this weekend. Suddenly, Steve believes in the LAPD. You know what? I can't say anything about Steve Fisher, because if it wasn't for Steve, and you guys have heard me say this over and over and over again, if it wasn't for Steve, we would know absolutely nothing about this case, right? I know some of you guys, may disagree with him, may not like him, but he's cool in my book. So I've got nothing bad to say, right? I just wish you would tell us, like, who the hell drove that goddamn Tesla. It may not even be relevant, but I think the one question that everybody has had since probably day one is, who the hell drove that Tesla, right? Ranch and Toes, don't say that. Don't say that. Do not say that. Watch breaking news. They're going to grant him bail by tomorrow. No. He is going to sit there over the weekend and eat his peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, right? And he'll probably meet Big Bubba. Rainus, hold on, where'd your comment go? He's in PC, right? He's gonna PC out. I don't know. Put his ass in general pop, right? I don't think he's gonna. You really think so, Viking? You think I don't think he's going to. I think he loves himself way too much. He loves himself way too much to do it. I plead the fifth, says he's too P to self D, right? I don't think so either. Too soon for Big Bubba? Damn. Yeah, no more Fortnite, you guys. He is not going to be playing Fortnite for a long time. Let's see. Any other videos out? Oh, hold on. There was another video of David. Let me find it. There was this Nest camera footage. Oh, here it is. Let me. Y'all see? Oops. Oh, whoa. This one right over here. At first, I thought this was fake, but this shit looked AI. But here we have some footage of David is doing a perp walk, y'all. We got him doing a perp walk. Here it is, you guys. Check this out. Oh. What the hell? No blonde hair. No do-rag. No bonnet. Just plain old David. What did Strategic say? Strategic said, those cops are short because we know that David's short too. Yeah. That's crazy. He's carrying the non-lethal right there. All right, so I'm going to put a link in the chat. So if anybody wants to come up and share their thoughts, you guys come on for a few minutes and, chat with us. Don't be scared. Morgan Turd is definitely guilty of something. You know what? A lot of people are saying that he's got a lot to do with this, right? Was that Hello Kitty Crocs? Oh, no, don't say that. He is not. Is he wearing Crocs? Don't tell me he's wearing Crocs. I know he's definitely wearing Air Force Ones. Oh my God, this guy's. Jesus Christ, how big are his pants? They gotta cover the whole shoe? Oh nah, this is crazy. Cindy said, I predict if he ever gets out, Fortnite will be a thing of the past. I don't know. It might not be. I think it might still be a thing, which is pretty crazy, right? So if you guys want to join the stream, I'll put the link for the StreamYard for anybody who wants to come up and chat for a bit. What's this? Humanoid robot. What? Hold on. Let's see this. I don't know if NY Po. Oh, Okay, NY Post put out this video right over here. 23-second video. Six, seven. Nearly home. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's see, what else do we have? David's arrest. Okay, let me see. News Nation put out an article today too. Or video. Let's see. I know we watched one earlier, but I think they put out a different one. Hold on, you guys, 1 second. Let this add. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Let's see. I don't know if this is new or not. It says April 16th, so let's see, 10 minutes long.
Breaking news tonight in another case. This is the case against the pop star David Anthony Burke, better known as David, spelled with a 4. Again, this is a massive story. We've been following it. It is huge online right now, ton of interest. The singer has been in the spotlight ever since the body of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was allegedly discovered in the trunk of this Tesla, or his Tesla. And the pair were supposedly in a relationship, although that wasn't confirmed by authorities. When police found Celeste's body in a Los Angeles tow yard in early September, talking about how far back this goes, initial reports indicated that her body wasn't just decomposed, that it had been dismembered. Today, we may have finally gotten confirmation of that disturbing detail, and also official confirmation that there is a real active criminal case against David for a charge of murder. And this is all thanks to previously sealed court records that were obtained by private investigator Steve Fisher, which he released to the public. He's going to come on in a minute. But the records are tied to the Los Angeles County grand jury investigation against the singer. And they contain allegations that when detectives discovered Celeste's body in the trunk of that Tesla, it wasn't in 1, but 2 bags, including one identified as, quote, a cadaver bag. Yeah, 1 body, 2 separate bags. And I don't know, call it ironic or not, but we are learning all of this is thanks to David's family. You see, his Houston-based father and other relatives, they were served a summons to testify in the pop star's case back in January. But when they tried to fight it, their legal battle, which contained these documents, became public record thanks to Texas law. And again, Steve,
hold on.
Now, these
all right. Well, let me just have this play really quick while I look for something else.
Documents raise some very big questions about the strength of the case against the singer, because prosecutors have seemingly known these details for months, right? And finding a body in 2 separate bags sure seems like something that would lead to an arrest. So why isn't David or anyone associated with him in cuffs?
Okay, so some of you guys may not be a fan of this creator, but we're a fan over here on this side. So Travel Ross put out a video. We're gonna watch it. If you guys don't like him, I'm sorry, y'all, but we're gonna watch him over here.
People, it is not a drill. David's been arrested for murder, and now the video of the arrest has been leaked to TMZ. This is what I'm seeing. Okay, I've leaped out of bed. David arrests the moment he's taken into custody, caught on video. Yes, they got him in 4K. They got David in 4K. We never thought the day would come. It was 7 months of long waiting, and we finally got David taken into custody for murder in 4K. This is a landmark moment. Okay, so look, this is the TMZ article. Right, they've got it. I can't even believe. I've got the chills for even reading that. I can't believe this is real. TMZ has obtained exclusive video showing singer David being arrested for the murder of Celeste Rivas, and the scene is intense. In the footage obtained by TMZ, law enforcement is seen taking David into custody shortly after 5 p.m. Thursday in the Hollywood Hills, not far off Sunset Strip. He was still lurking in the Hollywood Hills after all of that. Okay. The Grim Reaper of the Hollywood Hills was still skulking around in that area after what allegedly was done. This is insane. Okay, the footage shows officers heavily armed, carrying guns, some wearing tactical helmets and protective gear, underscoring just how seriously authorities were treating the arrest of the singer. They're taking him out like he's El Davido, like he's El Chapo. It says, as we reported, the Los Angeles Police Department took the singer into custody Thursday. So it was today. There was I think there was a typo earlier saying it was Tuesday, and I was like, oh man, they had him for a couple days. But no, it was today. Today is Thursday, the 16th. All right, of April. Insane. So he was taken in for the murder of the 14-year-old Celeste. LA County District Attorney's Office told them they're aware David was arrested. They say the case is expected to be submitted to the Major Crimes Division, where prosecutors will evaluate the evidence to decide if charges are warranted. If
Brandon, what's going on?
What's going on, bro? How are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm all right, man. Late night, but I got nothing else to do.
Where are you joining in from?
I'm in my room in Montreal, brother.
Montreal's in the house. How's it going? So tell me, what are your thoughts on everything?
I'm not surprised that it happened. I'm surprised that it happened recent, though.
You thought that it was going to take so much longer?
Yeah, because the way that it was going, it seemed like they were kind of grasping at straws. They're, it took forever to even get Neo, and Neo has been known as like his best friend. So
yep.
I figured that would be like the first person they would talk to after family members.
Yeah, totally agree. Right. And Neo was arrested, January 22nd. And here we are 3 months later, and we have him. Now we have David arrested. What are your thoughts on more people being involved?
If I think no, because the people that they have been taking in already, they would have been arrested and we would have heard about it. But what I could see happening is David's going to try throwing people under the bus, and that might bring people back in, but no one that we haven't heard of already.
So if there was a potential second suspect, who do you think is gonna, fall responsible for it?
I was thinking of this before, and like aside from like the normal like Neo or whoever, what I think to where was it?
Oops.
Everybody bringing that back up, like what is he doing over there? What is this? And I think if there is someone else involved, it's no one that anyone knows, and I don't think it has anything to do with the music industry or anything like that. The guy is a person. Like every musician and artist is a real person, and we all know people who are not in our lines of work. And by our, I mean like me as a musician. Like I have people that are not musician friends, like, so would he know somebody that would help him with murder? Probably. Maybe that's what he was doing out there. I don't think that it's anyone that we know.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a possibility, right? And we won't know until any of these court documents come out, or maybe, I don't know, if SF has more proof. I don't know if we're going to find out if there is a second person or not, right?
Yeah, that's totally it's up in the air. Like I have no idea. We're lucky that he was even brought in, and he's brought in without bail. So they have something, but maybe they don't have enough.
Neo? You're talking about David or Neo?
I'm talking about David.
Okay.
You sound like a chipmunk. That's a little weird.
I do. It's funny though, because your video went out, and then your internet was dropping a little bit. I'm sorry. I'm reading a message from some people regarding this case. Obviously, what did SF say? SF said something earlier. Let me see. Let me go ahead and share this. So here, you guys, here's a photo of David's Tesla. So I told you guys earlier that we were able to find Let me just add Brandon back. There you go. Brandon, you're back. So this is a photo of the Tesla that we found. We found this Tesla literally the day after SF had mentioned that he found it. And look at the back. Look at the damage on this car. You've seen the damage on this car, right, Brandon? Uh-oh. I don't know if you're still there. Yeah, Viking woman, I wonder who bought this car too, right? And why? Why? I don't know. Were they planning to sell this car? SF at one point thought that maybe they bought this car to destroy it, but then he was so shocked to find this. And when I tell you guys this Tesla, right? You guys see how close this Tesla is in this photo, right? I'm literally standing on the sidewalk, and that is how close the car is to me. So this car is literally right there. Let me see if I can show you. I think I have a video of it really quick. So let me show you a video of, in case you guys may have missed it. This is when we found the Tesla. This is the Tesla. You can see it here. That's crazy.
All right.
And then, so not only did we have this photo, but then I also was able to take this image right over here. So I don't know. For some reason, I just thought, yeah. Are you there, Brandon?
Yeah, I'm back.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah.
And so this was a footage or a photo that we took. And as you can see right here in this photo, there is that mysterious Christmas tree hanging from the mirror. This, I don't know. When I pulled up to this body shop, I literally like had chills because I did not expect this car to be so close to the sidewalk. Let alone to see the actual Christmas tree that Ashley Banfield was talking about. This car is crazy. Let me see. I think I have this image right over here. And out of respect for the people that work there, I did not go onto the property.
It's funny that, you know, there's so much emphasis.
Oh no.
Nice.
Are you there, Brandon? Yeah, no. Oh, really? They have the Christmas trees in their cars? I don't know. I don't really like the smell of those Christmas trees. They kind of freak me out. Brandon, I don't know what's going on with your internet, buddy, but let me know if you can restart your internet. But thank you. Anybody else wants to join? Share your thoughts. I'm going to put the link down in the chat so you guys can join. Anybody else? So if you guys want to join, share your thoughts, come on up. Come on up. We can talk. Let me see. Sorry, you guys. I'm just trying to find. I know I have another video, but I don't know. It was from my iPhone, so I don't know if it'll play on my PC, which is kind of sucks. So here's another photo that I took from my car. The moment that I pulled up, I was literally in my car. So you can see, like, let me see. Hold on. Let me just. There you go. So this is literally from my car. This is literally how close it was to the sidewalk. It literally is kind of like seeing a ghost, right? It was just crazy. I am in Cali. I am. Let me see. Anybody want to come up and join? The links in the chat. Let me know if you guys want to join. We can bring you guys up. Don't be shy, y'all. There's only like 50 people in here. Don't be shy. First Liberty, you should come on up. Share some wisdom. Foxy, somebody. I know y'all want to talk. 89. Okay. Well, thanks. Thanks, Abraham. I know. I was just joking. For the people that are shy in the back. This is crazy, though, you guys. And now we have David arrested. He's literally, you guys think about it right now, he's behind bars. He's sitting in a jail cell. You think he's writing a song right now? What song could he be writing right now? And you know what? For the people of the internet on YouTube, what I would really keep an eye on right now is if new songs start dropping from this guy. Because I have a feeling that now that he has been locked up, that we're going to start getting some new music. That's right, Cats here. We do have a members only Discord. So if you guys are a member, you guys are a new member, you know, we do keep this conversation going. And literally Discord was the first to know when this happened. And it was just crazy. It was like wildfire. It just spread like wildfire. So it was crazy. But the Discord is a members only. So if you'd like, please consider becoming a member. We do have affordable membership starting at 99 cents, you guys. And then I'll post the link to our Discord server after the show. You guys can come back and, you know, check it out. I hope he's cold and very uncomfortable. I know, me too. Me too. 7 months, you guys, 7 months. Every creator on YouTube has been talking about this case for 7 months. And now we finally get confirmation that he's been arrested. How good does it feel, you guys? Let me know. How good does it feel? All right, Brandon's back. Let's go ahead and add him to the stage. Brandon, welcome back.
Yo, I had to download the app.
Oh, StreamYard?
Yeah, I was using it on the Edge, Microsoft
Oh, okay.
Edge. Yeah, man.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be here again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, anything else you want to share? Anything else you want?
Everything that I said, did it go through at least?
It was a little choppy, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay. Well, I was saying, like, you know, everybody that has been brought in already, they're not arrested, and we would have heard about it already. So now that they have David, who's in there without bail, you know, if he's brought up to testify on anything or he's asked anything, if we do hear of anybody else, it's going to be because he's throwing people under the bus, and it would probably be people that are already in our you know, wheelhouse, I guess you could say, a pool of people that we already know or have heard about.
Yeah, so a lot of people have been saying that Rob Morgenroth has everything to do with this, right? But we know that in a grand jury, they don't subpoena any of the suspects.
Well,
you know?
Like from everything that I'm thinking of, like, yeah, everybody in management, the record company, him, David, I mean, except for his friends, in my opinion, I don't think any of his friends are involved, like, necessarily, because what goes on is, like, David is someone that like, for instance, is someone who is going to who has a lot of money behind him from these companies. So what will happen is one person gets a little posse of people, and it's rare. It's funny that Neo actually knew David for the longest, it seems, because, you know, any other up and coming star would have another posse of kids or friends rather, and like, they have nothing to do with it, you know. It's just kind of like, here's my friends, you know, and every single one of them is trying to get a record deal or a deal with a movie studio or something, you know. Like, it's not that far-fetched to think about. So I don't really think that those people have anything to do with it. His managers, for sure. His record company, for sure. And they like they know so much more than what you could even imagine. Because I'm sure as soon as that girl was dead, he told his manager or something, and the
Or
manager had to ask him about it.
maybe the
And then
manager told him.
yeah, it could have been that, or it could have been like David going, "Hey, I need a fixer. I need somebody to help me get rid of this fucking girl," and she's still alive. So like they hook him up with a killer. And that's why he has to go out to wherever the hell he went. And I don't think he was meeting anybody that is in the industry or is in his area of like no family, nothing. Like he was going to meet up with somebody, or somebody brought her there and he was going to relive the crime, something. Like that's what I see happening. It's really messed up. And what sucks about all this too, as a musician, like there's a lot of people saying like oh, it's a dark thing to be singing about. It's this or that. You know what? It has nothing to do with it. This guy, first of all, is not a good musician. He's not a musician, period. He's not even a good songwriter. Take, for instance, Alice Cooper. His whole shtick was being a murderer, a psycho crazed murderer, and he's brilliant. He's amazing. And I'll fight anybody that says that, oh, you shouldn't be over sexualized, you shouldn't be over this or that. You're writing songs. They're supposed to be a work of fiction. And sometimes they are works of nonfiction, but don't go like, discrediting what I was really mad, really, actually, at the fact that this guy had a shtick, and I was like, all right, cool. This guy's writing songs, that are completely different from all these hip hop artists or pop
Yeah.
stars, like he actually has this thing behind him, and then he goes and fucks it up.
I agree, and as a former artist myself too. I mean, I used to rap, right? I used to write a lot of lyrics and stuff too, and I used to actually be a battle rapper. And when it comes to battle rapping, like the whole point of battle rapping is how you can tear your opponent up, right? How you can eat them alive and literally spit them back out. So I mean,
and it's about your background. Imagine if we were so conservative about music that we would never have hip hop. That's a real story. Those are real stories from real people in real places. The murders, the drug dealing, the this, the sex, the pimping, the this, that. So there's not one person that's putting Snoop Dogg down. This guy's doing events with Martha Stewart. Come on.
They're besties, right?
Yeah, which is great. That's I think the funniest thing in the world. That's really good promotion and marketing right there.
And I love it too. Let me see. We have another person that I'm going to bring on. Person is Joe. So let me go ahead and bring Joe up to the stage. Joe, are you there?
Yeah, I am. How you doing, Joe? Can you hear me?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
You can hear me though? Because my phone's all fucked up.
I can hear you.
Cool. How you guys doing? This is Joe, First Liberties podcast. How you doing?
Oh,
how you doing, Joe?
Welcome. I didn't know your name was Joe.
Shit.
How's it going?
I'm all right. You cut out for a second. Everything went blank on my end, and then I heard how's it going. Did I miss anything?
No. I was just basically saying I didn't know your name was Joe. But yeah, I see you. I see you in all the chats too. So welcome. How's it going?
Well, it's cutting out real bad. I can't hear anything. Like as soon as you start talking, everything just starts going in circles. Now, like you're there right now.
Do you also have like the YouTube app open?
No, I close it.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, talk to us, First Liberties podcast. You share a wealth of knowledge with a lot of creators, so I'm curious what your thoughts are.
My thoughts are right now, I'm not really jumping to conclusions like a lot of the people, especially now that they said it's not by indictment. So this isn't from the grand jury. This is something else. It's separate. This is something that happens with grand jury investigations. Sometimes they find something completely new. So that could be where we're at right now. They could have just found something completely new. It's just stemming from everything else. Maybe somebody flipped out and said, okay, don't send me to jail. I know everything else he did. Just start spitting shit out there, whatever.
That makes me wonder
But
too, because yeah, it's not from the grand jury, but there's also been, look at how the police and the medical examiner and everybody else working on the case has been, so there was something that they just, were just waiting for. And I feel a little bad that all of us have been kind of like, well, what the fuck are you doing? What are you waiting for?
kind of what you cut out on mine.
Hold on, you guys, really quick, because we just got a post from SF Investigates. He did post a tweet literally right now that David Anthony Burke does have an inmate number. So let me go ahead and make sure that we have this really quick. Let me go ahead and share this really quick. So for all my legal eagles down in the chat, if you guys need this information, let me just make sure we can see this really quick. Let me share this. Can you guys see this right here? So for anybody that needs it, where is Chloe in the chat still? I know we were waiting for this. So David Anthony Burke is inmate number 7221640. David Anthony Burke, age 21, gender male, race black. Let's see. In custody. Ooh, in custody April 16th, 10:44. So he has literally just been booked. Ooh.
Write a song about that, buddy.
Wow. So it says here the reporting agency is the LA County Sheriff's Department in Monterey Park. So First Liberties Podcast, where do they normally hold? Is he at the LA County Jail?
I don't actually know. I'm in the San Bernardino County next door. I don't know. LA County's actually got a lot of jails. We got, at least at one point, the LA County just had 10,000 cops in the sheriff's office alone. That's not including all the different city cops. So they got a lot of problems, a lot of jails. I actually don't know. I don't know the routine like that.
Let me see. I'm looking him up on the LA Sheriff's Department jail roster right now. So
yeah, also you might even be able to put that whole thing right there in Google, and maybe a mugshot will come up.
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, David Anthony Burke, inmate number, all that, and maybe a mugshot will come up. I don't know, maybe Steve would have already posted it.
So far, nothing yet. Hang tight, you guys. We're going to see if we can get anything. No, nothing. He's got to be at Twin Towers with Nick Reiner. That's what Chloe said. We're on standby, you guys, to see if there is any kind of mugshot. So if anybody finds it, please make sure you send it our way. SF also put out a tweet 4 hours ago, though, and I'm curious what you think, Joe, about this, because he said David was arrested by complaint, not indictment, and the case will be submitted to the DA's office by Monday for charging consideration. I mean, when they say complaint, what could that possibly mean for people who don't, get the lingo? What can that mean?
So by complaint, so that means when the DA has enough information, that means you just take it straight to the judge. So I got witnesses, we have injuries, we got blood, we got weapons, and you just present it to the judge, and then the judge will get you that.
So that's what the judge signed off on, and that was their probable
Can you
cause.
see me? Because like I said, on my end, this stuff just cuts out. Like the images start going in circles. I see everybody right now. Can you see me right now?
No.
It looks like your camera might be off.
No, my camera's off, but I mean, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can
My camera
definitely
doesn't
hear
even
you.
work.
Yeah, we can definitely hear you.
Okay. So like I said, when it's on information, so they're not using the grand jury. Instead, like I said, the DA just goes straight to the judge after the PD sends the information to the district attorney's office. It's saying we have the witnesses, weapons, blood, injuries, victims, and all that, whatever it is, and then they get the warrant from there. That's what information. Compare that to the grand. That's when they go to the judge. They petition to even have a grand jury at all. Then once it gets approved, the DA is the one in charge of the investigation from there. That's why everything's about Beth Silverman. You never hear anything about a judge right now. The judge has nothing to do with the grand jury. The judge isn't there. The judge is really, you only call the judge to say we're moving forward or we're dismissing and stuff like that. But the judge isn't going to be involved. So, yeah, information just means exactly that. So that's why it says to me this is something new. And I know Steve said something about different girls that sent him something, and maybe that's what happened. Maybe it's related to that. I don't know. Again, I'm speculating. Obviously, we all are. Yeah. But, you know, that's just the spot that we're in right now because it's an arrest. It's fresh. He was just processed. We just now got the inmate number. We don't even know if there's a mugshot. Well, on Rabbit Stream, somebody said something about a presser possibly tomorrow. I don't know why. I don't know what they would say. They may as well just wait till Monday. Yeah, all they're going to say is, you know, Thursday he was arrested. That's basically it. So they might as well just wait until Monday.
I mean, whether it's tomorrow or Monday, we're all going to be watching, right? Chloe in the chat, our legal correspondent in the chat, also said, seems like a typical probable cause arrest, considering LAPD said they are submitting the case to the DA for charging consideration on Monday. This was all LAPD plus the judge.
Yeah, see what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's what complaint is. You know, upon information, like I said, you just go straight to the judge.
Damn.
So no grand jury indictment, no any of that. You still had, you know, everything else per usual, unseal the warrant later at the right time. But yeah, like I said, right now we're just not going to know anything specific until Monday is what it looks like. I don't think they're going to half-ass it. You know, first he has to get arraigned, then you know, they have to give him time. That's probably why they wait till Monday. They want to make sure he has enough time to get arraigned. So it's gonna be, you know, till Monday, maybe Tuesday.
Yeah, people in the chat are saying that they hear that it's gonna be on Monday.
Yeah, so far all the news reports today said Monday. So that's it. That's all really we can do is just wait.
So let's just say David gets sentenced, right? You know, trial's over. What is he looking at? You know, if he's charged,
he's looking at life, first degree. It's 20, just similar to Nick Reiner. The DA's, well, in that case, the DA's pursuing the death penalty, but that's because under those specific circumstances, what California calls special circumstances, is a list of aggravating factors that help under, you know, specific circumstances prove, basically prove that this was, you know, this is especially heinous crime. Some specific aggravating factors that help prove that he really, really wanted to get this done. Is basically what it means. So you might remember the DA kept saying with, you know, a lethal weapon, specifically a knife. Right? Or he says something about lie in wait. Lie in wait is one of those aggravating factors. In that case, it could be as simple as he was waiting in his bedroom. He waited for mom and dad to get home. You know, something like that, by example, because lie in wait means that he's waiting in a position of advantage so he can actually take advantage of the victims. But that's in that case specifically. Like I said, we're not going to know. We're not going to know until the DA says something. But if it really is first degree, it's life. And, you know, and I don't think he doesn't have an insanity defense. He definitely doesn't have self-defense. He's not going to. He doesn't have an easy way out of this. The only way I really see him getting out of this is if there was something wrong with the initial warrant. It's a basic fact of United States law. If there's an issue with your warrant and you raise that issue to the judge will look at that issue closely. If there is something wrong with the way the warrant was written, if something was false, something was never ever supposed to go down on that affidavit, the warrant can be dismissed. If the warrant was defective, that means the arrest should have never happened, the investigation should have happened. Bottom line, everything after that constitutional violation is voided. It's disregarded, and that would basically be the only way he would walk. Now, if you remember the LAPD, I think it was a lieutenant It was an LAPD lieutenant that filled out the arrest affidavit. He had been in it for about 20 years. He was really descriptive about the scene of the crime, namely the Tesla. It seemed to me like he got everything right. I don't think that's going to happen. So I don't think he has an easy way out of this unless unless it really was somebody else. It happened under his nose and he just really didn't know. So in other words, if David isn't guilty, that is the most unlucky son of a bitch I've ever seen in my life. That's basically what it comes down to.
Right. But I mean, obviously we don't know what evidence the law enforcement, LAPD, and the DA have against them, right? But you know, the internet they tend to believe that he has everything to do with it, right? And
well, one thing we can say for sure, if those were really medical body bags, and the fact that he used 2 of them, that's evidence of first-degree murder. So that means that he consciously organized and planned this out to make this death happen. So in that case, he's got body bags, medical body bags, professional tools that are used specifically for containing bodies. So that shows he has a level of awareness of what he did, and it shows some organization and planning. That's exactly the kind of evidence you need to get a first-degree charge. And now also people are thinking, well, what if it was an accident? What if it was something, let's say it was something like that. It just really doesn't matter. Even if it was an accident, it doesn't look like an accident anymore because of the way he tried to conceal it. Now, he can take the stand and say, no, it was actually an accident, but what that means is he's admitting to at least some kind of a crime. So that would mean, let's say it was an accident, he takes the stand and admits it, so instead of first degree, he might get maybe he busted down to something like a manslaughter charge. But like I said, that's a lot of ifing right now, because we don't know exactly what happened. But like I said, for just by the fact that she was wrapped in 2 bags, apparently 2, again, medical body bags, shows that this was a conscious, organized thing. So that alone is enough for the first degree charge. So that's what I'm anticipating. It's either that or a conspiracy charge.
Wow. Wow. That.
Yeah, it's heavy stuff. How
It's
much heavier does it get than actually finding the body? How much
Right.
how much heavier does it really get? From
Right.
the body to the way the body is concealed, the way the body was uncovered, and now you have, and now through the investigation, I don't know how legitimate all the other claims are that there are multiple witnesses. We have a ton of people that not multiple witnesses, but I mean multiple suspects. That's just a lot of guesswork right now. But the whole reason they went to a grand jury to begin with is because this was a weak case to start. Now they have a body in the trunk. They didn't exactly know who did it. You could have guessed it should have been David, right? Because it's his Tesla. He does have the responsibility over that Tesla, so there's a presumption that he has some responsibility because it's his. But he was also out of town when the body was found. If the cops were to try to bust him, that day somehow, or even that week, send a warrant for his arrest, and he could have argued I was out of town, I don't know what's going on, and probably could have been dismissed like that.
So Joe, I'm curious because I want to pick your brain because earlier on in this case, I want to say maybe no, I don't know if it was in January or not, but there were talks about the discovery of the burn cage, the chainsaw, the gas masks, and everything. So I want to get your thoughts on that as well, and if any of that evidence could be used in this case. Obviously, LAPD never picked it up and took it in, but they did, quote unquote, document it.
Well, the reason, first off, for the documentation, the reason they would have documented it is because they do have to document the entire crime scene. So they would have been taking photos from the outside of the house as they move inward, because they document the conditions of everything they found the time they found it. So then I think the warrant was executed, was it October or September?
Yeah,
whenever
September 18th was when it was served at the property.
Okay, yeah, so it was late September. So then they take pictures of everything as they see it the day it was found, because the way they found it is the way they're going to bring it to the court. So they have to, in the interest of prosecuting him, they have to preserve every little detail. So that's why they take photos of everything, even the burn cage, even any other what else was there? We had the burn cage and some other tools there.
The chainsaw, the gas masks, and so SF had mentioned that I want to say like on January 19th, earlier on in the year, it had to have been delivered after that date, because on January 19th, I want to say that there was like I don't know if like the property manager did an inspection, or somebody served an inspection at the property, and it wasn't there at that time.
Well, the whole thing is it wasn't used. So that's the big thing. If it wasn't used and there's no evidence of burn damage on the body, just like there's not really any evidence of ice on the body, they could have taken the freezers if they wanted. They could have taken that bird cage if they wanted. It would be unusual for them to leave something behind that they could have carried with them, because obviously they can't take the whole ass house with them. Obviously they can't. They don't bring that to court. But any instruments that would have been used, any knives, any other sharp objects, if he's got axes, hatchets, stuff like that, and they thought this body was chopped up, all that would have gone into the warrant, and they would have taken that the first day. They would have taken it all the same day. So the fact that they left everything behind says to me they didn't need it, or at least at the time they had no reason. If there was another warrant on the house, I don't know about it. So just speaking to that one warrant that was issued on September 18th, if they needed that, if they had a reason to believe that was connected to the crime, they would have taken it. So that's also one of those things that really throws off the TMZ theory that she was frozen, because they didn't take any freezers.
That you know what?
Say again?
No, sorry, continue. I said that totally makes so much sense.
Yeah, well, that's a basic fact of law. Probable cause. What does that actually mean? In civil and criminal law, we have a bunch of little different burdens to prove. You'll hear about 5 of them mainly. Probable cause would be in the middle, even though realistically it's a little bit lower than that. So it's a low standard, but it's still an inconvenient one. You still have to be factual. You still have to be factual and practical with the information that you provide to the court. In a factual way, what does anything you have to do with the body that you found in the trunk? There's no guessing and there's no hindsight. You don't get to kick in somebody's door on a whim. It doesn't matter how many children you rescue. If you kicked in somebody's door and you didn't have probable cause to know there was a crime going on behind that door, everything is suppressed. That's how guilty people walk. But we do that for a reason. Our rights only make sense if they're enforced. The innocent and the guilty have the same rights. So that's why cops can't kick in an innocent person's door either. It's still a violation of the law. That's why they do that. Anyway, for probable cause, what you're arguing is that a crime has likely occurred. You're not arguing scientifically that you've proven the crime on the streets. Cops can't prove crimes on the streets. That burden is only for a jury. So for probable cause in this case, if there was evidence the body had ever been frozen, they would have already, like I said, there would have been the ice itself would have said this body had been frozen. They would have taken freezers, anything else that can contain cold storage. I don't know what else other than freezers you could have used. The body was in pieces. If they have coolers, they could have been using that too. They would have taken anything that could have reasonably contained the body in cold storage like that. Now, as far as I know, the warrant served was only for electronic devices. That could have told us a hell of a lot. We just don't know yet.
True.
But as far as anything like, you know, if for some reason there were instruments that still had her DNA on it, any sharp objects that had blood on them, you know, that they, because they carved up the body. It's weird to me that people think, body was dismembered, because I remember there was a photo. Well, you could see an overhead shot of the body at some point. Somebody zoomed in on it, and that looked like it was in pieces.
Let me go ahead and
don't
share.
Don't go
that.
in the rib cage, in other words.
Let me
Yeah,
share that.
If you look back far enough, you can find that.
Hold on, we have.
What's that?
You're talking about this. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Are you talking about this photo right over here?
I believe so. Yeah. Well, at least it's the same angle.
So this is
But this looks a little bit more covered up.
This is the overhead photo that was posted by ABC7, I think.
Are you saying there's a photo of the body itself?
Well, not like, so I didn't see a photo of, say, they carried the body out. The photo I saw looked like the body was still in the trunk. But I don't know if it was doctored, because it didn't get a lot of attention. You know, nobody said anything. So maybe I gave too much attention to a photo that actually wasn't real. I know it's hard to tell these days, but I remember seeing from that angle a few months ago, there was a body in that trunk. So I don't know, look around one of these days, maybe you'll come across it. Maybe it was fake. My mistake if it was.
No,
I remember there was something like that. But a few people had also experimented with it. Some younger and also, you know, grown women who are about the same height as Celeste tried tucking themselves in that trunk, and they didn't have it easy. They still had to fold in. It was a tight fit even for them. So I'm surprised people are surprised she was dismembered, in other words.
That's true, right? Because the front trunk of the Tesla, especially in Model X, is only 6.5 cubic feet big. And, you know, from the aerial view from this photo right here, it looks massive, right? It looks like it's the entire size of the front, or the front part of the car. But in reality, it's a very, very small space. And
yeah.
You know, it took me, you know, because my boss has a Tesla too. It's a Model Y, so it's about 4.5 cubic feet big. But when I saw his frunk and I realized like how small it is, it's literally large enough to just store like a few bags of groceries, you know. And if anybody's ever seen the actual frunk, you guys really know that space is not large enough. So let me just share this photo with you guys over here. And this is the front trunk of a Tesla with one bag of groceries in it. And this trunk is not large at all. So if you guys can see this is not big, right? You can probably fit comfortably like maybe 5-6 bags of groceries this size. But to fit an entire 5'3", 120-pound 14-year-old, right? It's nearly impossible. So to see this photo right over here, right? It absolutely.
Well, also remember, she was did they say about 70 pounds or so when she was found?
When she was discovered, yeah, she only weighed 71 pounds. So
yeah, I'm more surprised people. I'm more surprised people didn't think already she wasn't dismembered. You know, I'm more surprised by that.
You know, I think what it was is the element of surprise, right? I don't think any of us expected to hear that, especially not coming from somebody such as D4VD, right? Or to hear that it was even possible. But it wasn't until a couple of weeks ago when SF Investigates dropped those court documents from Texas. I forget what document it was, but basically it confirmed everything that we thought, right? I know Rabbit was talking about it too earlier on. We thought that it could have been disarticulation. Um, Sloan even said that there were 3 bags instead of 2. The court document said that there was a second bag. They didn't specifically mention that it was a cadaver bag. But there, it's a possibility that they were both cadaver bags. Yep.
You're
Yep.
distorted again. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. It might just be my internet is bouncing in and out. But I heard most of what you said. But yeah, I actually, since this happened, I haven't seen Teslas the same at all. I look at them every time. I think, how the hell how would you actually fit a body in there? Because I've seen what people pull out of there. You really can't, like you said, you can't pull out of that. I don't know how new these Teslas are. I don't know the difference in the different models from every year, but none of those trunks look that big. So I know for a fact I wouldn't fit in there.
So for the Model 3, which is a smaller sedan, I think that one has a 3.5 cubic feet frunk. The Model Y, which is the smaller SUV size, that has 4.5 cubic feet, and then the Model X, which is the same model as the one that David had, was 6.5. So I mean, clearly the bigger the car is, the larger the space is going to be. But still, when you put it into perspective, there's not much of a difference between either of the front space, right? Maybe the Model X is a little wider, right? But as far as like how big it is, it's not much of a difference.
Well, anyway, my thoughts in short on this. I just want to wait till trial, just really see how it plays out. I'm a big believer in presuming innocence, and like I said, if this guy really, really didn't do it, then this is the most unlucky son of a bitch I've ever seen in my life. So, and if this really was an accident, well, we need to see that part on video because we're scratching our heads on this one. But all said and done, like I say, he probably isn't going to walk out of it. What I was saying earlier, the whole point of the grand jury is basically, to get witnesses to talk.
True.
To look for people who should have been there and learn what they knew. Right. Now, until we actually know who's actually involved, who's a witness, we need to actually see how it unfolds. But I guess it's a good time to tackle what a lot of people think is going on, because the way subpoenas work, you don't get to just pick whoever you want. You'll just get to put a name on a piece of paper and call somebody forward. Everything has to be for a legal reason with a legal basis. For witnesses have to give direct personal knowledge of anything that they've seen or heard. That's also why David wasn't arrested the first time when people started accusing him of being in an illegal relationship with a minor. He wasn't arrested right then and there. Well, mainly because she's no longer with us. Because she isn't here anymore, we can't hear from her where she was on that day. So as a basic rule of law, we need corresponding evidence of a crime. If there was a bar fight and you're saying fists were thrown, teeth got knocked out, people were bleeding, right? So cops should be able to find blood and teeth, by example. Now, when it comes to something like molestation or other unlawful touching, just simple contact with the area is obviously illegal, but that's not the kind of stuff that leaves marks or anything. In that case, the corresponding evidence is the victim. But in this case, the victim is deceased. So because the victim is deceased, the likelihood of him being prosecuted for that is very low unless there's something documented on those. Like, let's say there are videos of them together and they're doing all this illegal stuff together. And, if that's on video, they got him. And they took the electronics. They took electronics like cameras. They took the computers because anything that was, let's say, has an app that would allow them to actually monitor the cameras. That's probably why they took the computers. The truth is, what they wanted was the cameras. So they do things the right way. They might come across other information, like they did record it, by example. That would, or if they found DNA in the sheets. If the DNA was mixed in the sheets, they would have got it. But if she really had passed that long ago, he's generally a hygienic person. excuse me, he's generally a hygienic person. So he probably didn't leave anything like that laying around. So because we don't have something like that, that's the reason he was never arrested just based on the accusations alone, because that's not how we do things in the U.S. We don't just use accusations alone to get somebody locked up. Like I said, without corresponding evidence, there is no prosecution. If you tell the cops that you saw a body in your neighbor's backyard, they might get the warrant. If you tell them you just saw it maybe a day or two ago, they'll get the warrant right away. Now, if you were to tell them it was a year ago, you know, they're going to wonder, why did you wait so long? But also, as another fact of law, no judge will sign that warrant. There has to be some recency in order to justify a warrant. So if you're saying something happened a year ago, well, things could have changed over a year. So you got to give the judge something new or something fresh, a reason to believe that body is still there. Now, that's the way warrants work. But there still has to be corresponding evidence. So we've never in the United States ever just allowed anyone to just say somebody's guilty and then just go lock them up. So all that frustration on the internet is just, it's for nothing. It's huff and puff. We don't do that. Now, for people who may disagree, well, ask yourself, if you're accused of the same, well, what the hell are you going to do?
Yeah.
If you could do it, then David would have been able to do the same. And then we probably wouldn't even be talking about this. So that's why he was never arrested for that. And then when the new girls at Steve Fisher.
Oh, you're cutting out. You're cutting out. You still there?
Took so long. If that is true, maybe they did contact these girls. Maybe they did find something. I don't know. Like I said, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here. You cut out for a short minute.
Let me know if you can hear me, because the video cut out over here.
No, I can totally hear you. You just cut out right before you started talking about the additional minors.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me? Yeah, because your video completely cut out on my end. So what was the last thing you heard?
That's when you started talking about SF mentioning the other minors.
Cut out again.
Uh-oh.
This shit's just cutting out back. Yeah, you try one more. What was the last you heard from me?
The last part that we heard you talking about,
you said.
yeah, when SF started mentioning the second minor or the additional minors.
Yeah, so for the other thing, it's the same thing. The cops have to hear it from the witness, from the victim. The victim is a victim witness in this case. So the cops got to hear it from the girl in the photo. Because just sending the cops a photo of a face covered, you know, David's face is exposed, but the other girl isn't. Steve can get up there and say all he wants, that she's a minor, she told me so. That doesn't matter to the cops.
Yeah. Well,
it doesn't matter.
What I can
they
tell
didn't
you,
follow up. I don't know why they would tell them.
Well, what I can tell you about that other minor, right, is that it took some time to convince that person to go ahead and speak with law enforcement, because they were in fear for any kind of retaliation, you know, that would have came their way. So it did take that minor quite some time to kind of speak up, but they finally actually did it.
And like I said, if that really is a minor, if that's true for law enforcement purposes, we got to hear it from her.
Yeah.
We can't just take Steve's word for it. So for legal purposes, they do have to contact her. They have to hear it from her. And, you know, then they would have to go from there. So like I said, maybe that's what this is. But I know the news said in connection to the murder suspicion. That's what they said right now. And like I said, we just don't know. But just trying to answer some questions that have been burning up in people's minds.
No, and you know what, Joe, I appreciate it. You shared so much knowledge. And
why wasn't he arrested right away?
Joe, thank you so much for sharing such a wealth of knowledge. I'm sure you've answered and shared a lot of knowledge with a lot of the people in the chat. It seems like a lot of the people have enjoyed everything that you had to say. And even Chloe, our legal correspondent in the chat earlier, said that she agrees with everything that you said. So thank you again.
It's basic law.
Everybody in the chat, say thank you to First Liberties podcast for sharing that wealth of knowledge. And I think it's going to be a sight to see. I think, we're all going to have to wait until Monday to see if there really is a press conference and if they're going to give us any more details. Obviously, we have the defense coming to speak to David's character. They're saying that he's 100% innocent. Well, maybe not 100% innocent, but that he has nothing to do with this. So I think we're going to be in for...
He is not the cause of her death. That's a tricky set of words right there. That he is not the cause of her death. Now, in context, and again, I'm speculating at the moment because that's just how it works because we don't have the indictment forward. So, by saying he is not the cause of her death, but the state is pursuing a murder charge, there is a possibility the state pursued this under a felony murder case, which is different from first or second degree. So first degree means you consciously planned it out. Yep. You had a moment of opportunity. You had an opportunity. You had a plan of action, and that can happen on a moment's notice. Sometimes people, guys see a woman going towards an ATM, or they know an ATM's down the street. So he'll run ahead of her where she can't see him. He'll wait for her at the ATM, and then that's your first degree. Let's say you get, just for simplicity's sake, get all that on video, show him running ahead of her, waiting for her at the ATM. That's your first degree evidence once he actually commits the murder.
I think you mentioned this the other night in chat, right? During one of the last lives that we did. So thank you for clarifying that.
Somebody had, well, at least in Rabbit's chat, I know somebody asked me about the felony murder, because that's what I'm getting at here. Felony murder, all murders are felonies. A felony murder theory is different. A felony murder theory that you can be convicted of the death that occurred during a separate underlying felony. So in other words, right, robbing the bank is a felony.
Mm-hmm.
So if you use a firearm, the instant you pull the trigger on somebody else, you are automatically responsible for the death. And if you have a co-defendant, your co-defendant is responsible for aiding in the commission of the same felony. Your co-defendant may have never actually set foot inside the bank, but because your co-defendant did aid in the commission of the bank robbery, then he is guilty of the same death. You guys still there? Everything just went in circles on my end.
We're still here. I see Brandon's still here with us too. We're still here. You still with us, Joe? Brandon, did you want to share anything else?
No, this guy's got so much knowledge. It's nice to hear from someone that's actually there and, deals with at least, police reports and stuff like that, to have clarity in a lot of things. But still, there's still no clarity in what the complaint was, like what, or how long David had been in LA and what the hell he was doing there. I have no doubt in my mind that he's still working on things as a ghostwriter for whatever. Like he's still employed by whatever record label he was on. They haven't dropped him. It might not have his name on their website or anything, but he's still employed.
Oh, absolutely. And the fact that, they're still collecting money from his music too.
Well, yeah, but they're always going to do that. It doesn't matter if he gets put away for, people, the what is it, Paramount Pictures, they still make money off of the Naked Gun movies, and that had OJ in it.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Joe, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me? Sorry, I don't even know how long I was talking to dead air. I'm really sorry. Was I making sense before I dropped?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What was the last thing you heard, or do you even want me to continue?
No, continue. Yeah, if you want to share, please continue. I mean, look, this is all new stuff to me, so I I can always learn a thing or two. You know, my professional line of duty is nursing. So, you know, this is completely different from, you know, your line of profession, and the people in the chat, I'm sure, you know,
I'm not
appreciate
actually, and I'm open about this, guys. I'm not a lawyer. I just studied law for a while. I'm not a lawyer. Like some of the people in Rabbit Chat, they're the real thing. I'm not a lawyer. Just so people understand that. But anyway,
you have a wealth of knowledge.
so what I was explaining, the felony murder rule. We said all murders are felonies, but the felony murder rule means the death occurred during the commission of a separate underlying felony. So if you're guilty of the felony, you're guilty of the death. And there are 3 ways. California only has 2 ways to get you convicted like this, but typically there are 3 ways to get convicted. Let's say if the bank robbery example, if somebody has a heart attack during the bank robbery, you're guilty of that death. It doesn't matter if you're the bank robber. It doesn't even matter if you ever saw that person eye to eye. If somebody had a heart attack at the scene of the crime in a back room where you never saw anybody, you're still going to be guilty of that death because it occurred during the commission of your felony. Similar, a lot of people are wondering, what if she overdosed? If he gave her the illegal substance under felony murder, you have the separate underlying felony. He provided the illegal substance, and now that she's passed away, if that was the cause of her death, that makes him guilty of felony murder. So he will go away. He faces all the same legal consequences as if he had just done it directly.
Now, Joe, I want to ask you, right now that he's been arrested, is it possible that after this, you know, if he gets indicted, is it possible that they can potentially stack charges on top, whether it is supplying drugs to a minor or, I don't know, harboring a minor?
Those are all possibilities. Especially, let's start with that. Actually, with about harboring the runaway, kidnapping, abduction. Those are 3 separate crimes. Kidnapping is by force, fear, threats. Okay, so you know, grabbing somebody off the streets, or let's say using a weapon and saying, you know, get in or stay here. Locking somebody in a room so they can't get out. That would be, you know, that's kidnapping too. Abduction. There are 2 types of abduction in California. There is a person without custodial rights is keeping the minor from a person who does have custodial rights for an unlawful reason. Now, if he was doing that to protect her, like he thought this girl's life was in danger, that wouldn't constitute abduction, even though he did keep her from the custodial mom. For, like I said, for kidnapping, there would have to be evidence of force or threats to enforce kidnapping. Then you have harboring the runaway. That's an interesting thing because in California, a child is abandoned if the custodial guardian has not tried to make contact with this minor for at least 6 months. And there's a huge gap in the story missing. So mom said the last time she saw Celeste alive was April 2024. We're finding the body September 2025. So there is a huge gap. Now, that does, by no means does any of that justify the death. But when it comes to proving any of those charges, kidnapping, abduction, or harboring the runaway, those are 3 different charges. There are 3 different definitions. They look similar from the outside, but they are 3 different rules ultimately. So because there are 3 different sets of rules, you have to know exactly what happened. Now, it looks like she went to him. So for a fact, it doesn't, at least right away, it doesn't look like force or threats. But again, because there's so many gaps in the story, we don't actually know. We can't hear it from her. If there are text messages behind, if they had a text conversation, and, you know, if he was dumb enough to leave it in writing for people to eventually find it, then yeah, that could be evidence of, you know, force and fear or threats. But like I said, we'd have to actually see that. So we'd have to actually see that at the trial in order to know how it's going to be argued in, because hearsay Hearsay is a fairly simple concept. The statement superficially seems, it seems like it relates to the criminal charges, and the truth is it doesn't. We'll try this. We'll say a self-defense example. Let's say you shoot somebody in your lawn, two completely different skin colors. Your neighbor saw the whole thing, so your neighbor's going to tell the cops everything that that he saw, and the neighbor's going to say, well, this is obviously a racial shooting, right? Look at him, right? Look at his skin color. Look at the other guy. That doesn't hold. That's not how we prove a racially motivated crime in the United States. All of that stuff is hearsay. That has nothing to do with it. Because the legal question for you is not whether or not you are racist or anything. That doesn't matter. What matters is whether or not the force that you used in that moment was lawful. That's the only thing that matters. It doesn't matter if you're two different skin colors or not. It actually doesn't even matter if you are racist. It only matters that the force that you actually used under those circumstances was lawful. Now, if your neighbor, let's say your neighbor made an earlier police report saying that you made a plan, you were planning to shoot some black guy somehow, some way later at night, right? And then it actually happens. That's different. But that the way in the second story, your neighbor would actually be explaining what's happening as it's unfolding, whereas in the first example, your neighbor's just saying whatever comes to his mind, saying at first glance this looks like something racist, so it must have been something racially motivated. Well, okay, we don't do that in our courts. That's a hearsay statement. It doesn't teach us anything about the crime. And you're obviously saying it after the fact. You're jumping to conclusions that obviously have nothing to do with the crime that's actually going down, the crime you're actually accused of. So it's only the use of force in that case that they can actually consider in the court. So that's that's basically what hearsay is. Superficially, that's not the legal definition. The legal definition is an out-of-court statement offered for the truth in the matter asserted. So in other words, the statement is offered as a truth, but we don't have that corresponding evidence like I was talking about earlier. Like I said, you can't tell the cops you saw a body next door and there is no body. That'll get you in trouble with the cops,
Yeah.
So you see what I mean? So there has to be corresponding evidence, and just because the optics are there, it looks like it could be a racially motivated thing that doesn't hold. That's too weak. That's why a lot of the times people with two different skin colors, they fight. Sometimes someone dies, but you never ever see bias motivated charges, where things like racially motivated crimes, gender motivated crimes, similar hate-based crimes, you almost never see those. We understand people, especially in California, we have every shade under the sun down here.
Yeah.
We generally expect people of two different shades to fight, and sometimes, unfortunately, people pass. Well, if we just went by that standard, where two people of two different colors got into a fight, somebody dies, whoever survives is just going to face those charges. We would almost nobody would ever escape a bias motivated charge. That's why we don't do that. Again, there just has to be that corresponding evidence. So we don't have that. So when it comes to the issues like kidnapping, abduction, and harboring a runaway, like I said, yeah, we know she went to him, but that seems to be all we know. If we knew she was kidnapped, we wouldn't be talking about the body. Somebody would have already intervened and saved her. So if we had that evidence that she was kidnapped prior to this, then we wouldn't be here right now looking at an overhead view of her body. You see what I mean?
100%. Wow. This is definitely going to get interesting if this case goes to trial. I can tell you that.
Oh, it's going to be a very interesting trial. It's going to be a long trial. They actually do have this many witnesses, and we still have the Burke family waiting to come from Texas, who, like I said, unfortunately, they could appeal all the way to the United States Supreme Court if they wanted, but it's going to be the same result. They're just going to be denied all the way down.
Yeah.
All the way up. They're going to fill out the petitions, And honestly, I'm surprised. I'm surprised the Court of Appeal took anything in Texas at this point. But I think I know why. The judge was, the lawyer for Dawood or Dawood. I don't know how to say his name. But I'm just going to call him Dawood. That's what I've always said.
I think it's Dawood, but whatever.
Yeah, Dawood, whatever his name is. Point is, Papa Burke, his lawyer did the talking at the trial in Texas. What's called the materiality hearing. So basically, that just means they wanted to know if the material information on the affidavit was there. Was this paperwork lawfully filled out? And that's why I told Rabbit, as long as that is the right Dawood Burke, then he is going to California one way or another. The lawyer said something about how he's received affidavits like this before where everything was unsealed. However, he didn't say that was related to a grand jury charge. He said that he never said that had anything to do with a grand jury investigation coming from other states. So people don't understand what I'm talking about. If you're arrested because there are witnesses against you, it goes to your lawyer, but you get all the information through your lawyer, and the warrant is supposed to be unsealed to you. It's revealed to you, so you get to know what the witnesses against you said. Okay, you get to dissect that, and then when you go to your probable cause hearing, you have a moment to challenge the statements that were made against you that put you at the scene of the crime. So in other words, let's say, so the last time the car moved was July 29th. So let's just speculate. Let's just say that was actually the day she died, or the week she died that week. So let's say the last week of July she died. All right, we'll just say that's the truth. So someone's going to say it was David, right? But now David can show he has an alibi. For the last week of July, he wasn't even there. Okay, he can do that. He could show, I have plane tickets, I have receipts, I was way the hell away from California. This couldn't have been me. Okay, and then he could escape prosecution like that. But for the usual arrest warrant, that would be unsealed. That information would be unsealed. Now, because this affidavit all pertain to a grand jury proceeding, it's necessarily confidential. They do that for a reason. You don't want anybody's good name to be ruined because they're being investigated. So that's why, theoretically, any one of us in this chat right now could have come up in the investigation. You and I are in California. Theoretically, our names could have come up in the investigation. So that's why this stuff's always been confidential for 250 years in the United States, because you don't want to lose your good name because somebody said you did something you didn't really do. So anyway, in the case of the subpoena that goes over to Texas, because this is related to a grand jury, that's why everything is sealed. So let's say it wasn't related to a grand jury, but he was summoned in relation to a crime that happened out here for whatever reason. So he would get everything unsealed, and then he would be able to, like I said, if there was a way for him to challenge the information on that paperwork, he could prove it at the materiality hearing. But like I said, he wasn't afforded that opportunity. He can't do it because it's a grand jury proceeding. Now, his lawyer said, I've had similar affidavits and they were unsealed, right? But he didn't say they were grand jury affidavits. That is a problem for him because as a basic rule of appellate law, any issue you didn't bring up at your trial doesn't get to be brought up on the appeal. So if he's playing word games just to get a hearing to an appellate court, that's going to be the first thing they ask him. What did you say this at the materiality hearing, your trial? What did you say at your trial? And when they catch him playing those word games, which he's, like I said, he's saying that he's had unredacted, he said it to imply that he's had unredacted subpoenas related to grand juries in other states before. No, he hasn't. I bet you he hasn't. But he didn't say anything that specific to the judge right? The judge didn't call him out for it. And so that's my guess. That's the reason he's getting this hearing in the appellate court, because he played some word games. That's my guess right now. Because at first glance, the Burke should have already been out here in California to testify. There should be no reason the Texas appellate courts are even entertaining this. Like I said, same thing I told Rabbit. As long as it's the right Burke family, that's the only thing the judge needs to know. Once the judge knows it's the right Burke family, he's just going to say the respondent is going to California to testify to the grand jury. And California pays to fly him over there. They secure him and all that shit. So it's interesting to me that he even got the hearing, because by all accounts, he should not have gotten that hearing. There should have been no way he got it.
Is it possible that the family may not even have to testify at all?
It's possible. It's always possible, especially right now, because we don't even know what happened. Now, as far as, I don't know what they have to offer this. The family isn't going to be able to go to trial and say, I miss my baby girl. Well, if you miss your baby girl, apparently you knew about David, and maybe you didn't know where he lived, but what did you actually do to get her back? And even if, what does that have to do with the killing? What does that actually have to do with the murder? So it really just depends what they have to do with the murder, because if they had a reason to believe she had died, they didn't say anything, there's an argument for negligence on their part,
I was just
and that would warrant charges onto them. And right now, as far as I know, mom is the only one left. I actually haven't heard anything about the dad.
Same. Yeah. The dad has not been brought up in this. I mean, they say that he's been in Mexico. He just hasn't been around. But yeah, the mom has been the only family member that's been brought up since day one.
Well, what we will probably see if he is convicted, never mind the conviction. Once the trial has passed, she's probably going to file a wrongful death suit.
Yeah.
So we'll probably hear something from her one way for another. But yeah, theoretically, she could be testifying at the criminal trial. I just don't know right now what she would have to offer, because when you think about how the crimes happen, you look at the scene of the crime and you move your way out, you have to find a nexus between, the location of the body, in this case, where this actually took place, why is that body over there, who did it, and so on, right? And, you're down here with me. Riverside and Los Angeles are not next door.
Nope.
No, I think you might, if you drive fast enough, I guess you can do it in an hour. I know some people have pulled off some really cool shit driving over 100, but
yeah, no,
I just don't know what you can offer.
My family lives in Riverside County, and it doesn't take me anything less than an hour and a half to get out there. So definitely not close.
Yeah, see, and I'm towards the middle of San Bernardino County. So yeah, I understand what you're talking about. So anyway, as far as what would her connection actually be, like I said, it's so hard because I doubt she helped cut up the body. I don't know. But as far as testifying at the trial, the only thing I can think of, if he is charged with any kind of sex crimes with Celeste, there are very limited circumstances where she might be able to say something. But like I said, we have hearsay rules. We have hearsay exceptions. I'd have to actually see how the evidence unfolds, but like I said, it's possible. I don't know what she has to offer right now. Not at this point. But like I said, if she knew where Celeste was this whole time, I don't. There might be a nexus in there somewhere to show that she had, she played there's some negligence in there, or maybe she really did contribute to the death.
And then there's also
I don't know, but like I said, right off the bat, I don't know what she could offer anybody at trial.
And Brandon, thanks for just chilling. Yeah, feel free to jump in, Brent, if you want to share. This is a conversation for all of us to have. But there's also those rumors that maybe the family was getting paid off too, right? Maybe they were receiving some sort of, money to stay quiet. That, I mean, we don't know. None of that's confirmed, but I mean, it's definitely a rumor that's been floating around the internet since day one.
Everything cut out, so if you can hear me, I can't hear you. I'm just watching shit go in circles.
Uh-oh. Can you hear us now? Yeah, Brandon, come on, give us something. They want to hear you, Brandon.
Yeah, I'll talk, but I mean, there's nothing I could add to this. He's giving us information. There's nothing to really, discuss.
No, I'm totally agree. I mean, this is, to me, this is all new to me, and I am just taking this all in.
Yeah,
So,
it's really nice to hear, the honest and real facts of, this side of a situation that, we're all, grasping onto, because even though it's not necessarily, having to do with David or this case, it's something that we could at least stop. You could stop coming up with like ideas of what is going on when some of the backing of what cops will have to go through, what a grand jury will have to go through.
Proceedings said he'd rather argue with me about speech.
Yo, I'll fucking argue, bro. But that's not what we're here for right now.
Joe, do we have you back?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
So I am bottom line. I just don't know what the mom has to offer at trial at this point. But anything's possible at this point when you don't know.
Yeah, again, we're just gonna have to wait and see where this one goes. I mean, things just got cooking, and this is a day that none of us saw coming, especially not today. But definitely a day that we're all really trying to celebrate. So,
Like I said, it's going to be an interesting trial. It's going to be a long trial. I still say don't expect the trial any sooner than January 2027.
That's right. You did say that. So we're gonna have to wait. Joe, thank you so much for joining. If you find any more news, I'd love to bring you back on and help share your thoughts. To clarify some of the things that we've been thinking from a legal perspective. I know you mentioned earlier you are not a lawyer, but you've studied law, and we've got one of our legal correspondents who was in the chat, who agreed with you wholeheartedly. So we'd love to have you back on the show. Anything else you want to talk about?
Not right at the moment. No, I just wanted to jump in. This got me wondering too, because I was watching this one close too. I had just gotten fired when this went down.
Oh no way.
So yeah, so what? Well, not today. Sorry. So back in August, I actually got fired. I went to visit my mom. She woke me up. Said she was watching something on the news. Something about some singer has a body in his trunk. But he wasn't in the state at the time. So that was my initial reaction. He wasn't even here. He could just say, I was out of town. I don't know what's going on. That was back then. Things are changing now. What's really going to help? So either if we're lucky, the DA will make an announcement tomorrow, but it looks like Monday. So we're probably not going to hear anything sooner than Monday. And once he says exactly what this current charge is, then he'll be able to understand something. At least part of the indictment is going to seal, because the whole indictment doesn't get unsealed. In fact, something else people might want to know, and you're welcome, by the way. I love your username more than you know right now. I love that username. But anyway, for the foreseeable future, in fact, you will never actually know everything that happened in the grand jury proceeding. They only unseal the parts they need for the trial. And especially, you're never going to know what exactly the grand jury was thinking. That part never even goes on record. That's 100% completely spoken between the 23 members of the jury. Doesn't go on any record whatsoever. So most of it you're never going to know, but we're only going to see the parts that actually relate to the trial. So even on Monday, we're not going to learn everything. You're only going to learn, and this wasn't even related to the indictment. This was just a separate charge by information. So we're still not going to know what's in the indictment on Monday, but we are going to know something. So once I know the charges, and at least if they can tell us, there was a witness, who the witness was, one or two, that would give me a much better estimate about what kind of evidence they actually have against this guy, and I have different commentary on Monday, maybe Tuesday.
You think they have a lot on him, though?
Well, they got something. If they're going to your house, remember, okay, for grand juries, I know we got to wrap it up, so let me keep it short. For grand juries, in California, they're not required. In the federal system, they're required. But in California, they're not required. So that means there are only a few reasons you go to grand juries. One of them being your case sucks. So the grand jury is basically a Hail Mary. So when I heard grand jury, that was my first clue that they actually don't have the information they need to get the arrest. Because like you saw today, he was arrested and there was no grand jury.
Yeah.
When you have that information, they could just go and get you. And for all we know, something else came up that maybe it did spring from the grand jury investigation. But now you see right here, if they had the information, they would have just gotten them. Bottom line, they would have just gotten them. They didn't need, they wouldn't be using a grand jury if the case was that strong against, as far as finding the body in the trunk. So whatever this is, it's a lot stronger than finding a body in the trunk. Bottom line.
Oh boy, and I can't wait to find out what exactly that is.
I can't wait either. Honestly, it's killing me.
Well, I mean, this was a lot to take in, and First Liberties podcast. Do you have a channel where people can find you at?
Just use mine. I actually have been meaning to post content. I had some test videos I threw up, and then I took most of them down. But anyway, yeah, I actually have been meaning to update that. I've been busy myself. I gotta find. I have to find time to make videos I want to do. I actually was. Excuse me. Sorry, I got a cough coming. I actually was gonna post a video explaining why he hasn't been arrested yet, but then he got arrested.
Well,
so I won't be posting that one.
I just shared your channel link in the chat. So you guys do me a favor and go follow First Liberties podcast and keep an eye out for some very educational content that I'm sure he's going to be putting up soon. So if you guys can do me a favor, follow First Liberties podcast and put their link in the chat. That would be so awesome if you guys could, help him out, get his channel up and growing.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, anything else you want to share?
Well, like I said, don't expect a trial anytime soon. The only thing I could say, if he asserts his right to a speedy trial, then maybe we'll see something around September, October. That's a guess on my part, because he has to get arraigned. He has to get arraigned within 48 hours. Pre-trial has to begin within 60 days. By California law. That's called, if you want to look that up in writing, that's called the California Speedy Trials Act. So if you want to see those rules, you can look that up whenever you want. And that's basically from this point forward. So within the next 70 days, thereabouts, we're going to see something about pretrial for these charges here. So you're going to, from this point forward, but I still would not anticipate the trial any sooner than 2027.
Oh man, it's almost, what are we? This is the 4th month, so we got about 8 months till we see anything go to trial. Then,
yeah, like I said, remember Sean Combs?
Yep.
It took 6 months to get the warrant served, and then it was 8 months before he actually went to trial. And vast majority of his accusations were based on video evidence. So that should give you a clue.
Damn. Well, Joe, I appreciate you coming on to the show and sharing a wealth of knowledge with not just me, but everybody that was in the chat. Um, it looks like we've got some supporters to help support your channel
Probably
too.
should just let you go home.
No. But I want to encourage you to continue making videos. I mean, you shared so much information that really helped me out because honestly, I'm not nowhere close to being a true crime expert, nor am I very familiar with the law. I've streamed a lot of my content, and a lot of my content has been covering this case. So, I do appreciate you sharing everything with me in the chat because it totally helps put things into perspective for me, at least.
Well, this was an interesting case for me to follow because I'm just like anybody else. Even when you understand how evidence is unfolded for purposes of a prosecution, for something like this, you got to wonder, well, what the hell do you do next?
Mm-hmm.
For legal purposes, a witness is just as strong as a video camera. The key is finding the witness that is qualified to tell you anything. But that's really what the grand jury's for.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you have to use a subpoena and force people to talk, you didn't have a strong case to begin with. So that's why I was telling Rabbit, and the same thing I'm telling you now. The state chose the grand jury because they were off to a really bad start. So that's why they still don't have the grand jury indictment. They have a separate charge that was strong enough to just go. Are you there?
Yeah, we're here. We're here.
Shit. Not bad.
We're still here. You still there?
Say that one more time. I'm still here, but I cannot hear you. But like I said, I understand you're on the way out. But those are really the only final words, the words I got left on the subject right now. Until we know more Monday, I'm probably not going to have anything else.
Well,
or any questions for me if you want to squeeze another few minutes out of me.
Does anybody in the chat have any questions? I think, hold on. There was Eileen, Eileen had a question. What are your thoughts on the no bail? Eileen had a question on why no bail, so he couldn't run. Oh. Anyways, you guys, do me a favor, drop a thank you in the chat for First Liberties podcast for coming on to the show and sharing a wealth of knowledge. And Brandon, you're still here.
Yeah,
What's up, Brandon?
Not much.
Talk to me.
I had my cat in my arms, and you had your dog in your arms, and I was like, "Yo, this would be a perfect little podcast show to do weekly." Like if you want to do a music one, I want to ask you about that a couple times. But yeah, no, dude, it's really interesting hearing this stuff. And for me, like I'm thinking of like the history of the record label, the record industry. Like there's always been cover-ups of things and stuff we don't know. And what I think happened personally is like David didn't get rid of that body fast enough, and this would have been covered up. And what we're seeing right now, just like Joe was saying that, what do you say? What did he say? He was like, when it goes to a grand jury, that means that the case kind of sucks. And I'm like, yeah, because they're, like everything that whoever was helping to get this covered up, and you have to be kind of like don't be ignorant of the fact of who this, like David means money to the record company, and the record company is already a lot of money. So like that's why I would think that they would, be helping out with this thing. But David didn't get rid of the body fast enough. So now everything that's going on, like the case sucks. They don't have enough evidence because the cover up kept going on. They're like, okay, well, well, now they got the fucking body, idiot, like, so now we have to go ahead and, do all this other stuff. And you'll be lucky. You'll be lucky if you don't see the inside of a jail for more than a month or two. Like, and then after that, when you get out, you're going to do all these things for us to make us some more money. You got to clean up the name and all the shit. And that's exactly how I think it is, because the record industry was built on mobster money, at a certain point. And so, like it's kind of hard to not think it, like I don't think of the record company or any company that has a lot of money, as angels. They're not, you know.
The music industry definitely has its very long history. They've got deep pockets and long hands, so they definitely have ties in everything, good and bad. I mean, we've talked about it on the podcast too. The whole coincidences between some of the logos for some of these major, record labels. I don't really want to talk about it too much on this because I don't know what they're capable of doing. You know what I mean?
It's I mean, we don't have to talk about it, but it's not anything that's hidden. And I am a drummer, by the way. It's nothing that's hidden. In every music documentary, there's always something that the record label helped deal with, and it says a lot. It doesn't mean that they're saying that they helped cover up murder or whatever, but the things that they do say that they helped, broker deals with, or all that kind of stuff. I love talking about that kind of stuff. I wish we could do it a little bit more, but it'd be ignorant of me to say that this kid didn't have someone at that record label kind of like, every people knew, everybody knew, and just because no one's saying that they knew doesn't mean that they didn't know. There's like they fucking knew.
I mean, it's hard to dispute that, right? I mean, there's images, of Celeste being in the same vicinity as the people on the management.
Yeah, well, Abraham's saying it's a little far-fetched. David is definitely a superstar, and he had the potential to be. And right when all this stuff was happening, you seen the rollout of David's superstardom. The guy was playing Coachella, and he got this the Fortnite tune, which is going to be played to like everybody, every kid in existence. He wasn't a superstar to people that are older. But
no, you're absolutely right. Just because, I mean, because a lot of us didn't hear him, I mean, he was definitely a major superstar in the eyes of the younger generation.
Yeah,
right.
That's exactly where my eyes weren't. I'm still waiting for Prince has been dead for like how long now, and I'm still waiting for like his posthumous albums to come out. Like that's where my eyes are.
Yeah. So there's kind of switching topics a little bit too. There's a belief, right, that once Celeste was unalived, that there's a belief that her body never made it back into the house. And there's a potential, or there's a belief that her body was in the Tesla for the entire duration after life.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he went to go pick her up at some point within the month or two. She might have been in there for a couple months, but I think she was somewhere else. And this thing about her being frozen or not, I think that's like high probability. Not frozen, but kept in a fridge somewhere. I think the next step was like get the body. Now we're gonna, whoever's helping him. Now you just wait for me to have a free moment, and then we're gonna, we'll take care of it. But go get the body, because you don't have time to do this and this and that. You have to get it now.
So one of our good friends of the show, Goal, and we were talking about, how long her body was in the Tesla, and it turned out to be from July 29th to the day her body was discovered was a total of 41 days. Right? So that's a month and 11 days, or a month and 10 days. So, I mean, how many? Let me see.
I think the people that were saying that they had been smelling it for quite a while. If we were able to talk to them and be like, well, how long? How long is quite a while? A couple days, a week, a month, what? Like Does it just smell like shit on that corner all the time? What, every month or two you get a
Well,
bad garbage smell? You know, like how long have you guys been actually smelling this? Because like for a
it's
while is
true.
like pretty
Let me
vague.
see. Let me see. Hold on. I want to see if I can find this. I want to find this video. Let me see. Let me see if this is it. Let me find the video first.
Yo, Abraham, I 100% behind you on that, man. I have a hard time accepting someone is that stupid, but the guy,
Well,
like I
so
said,
here, let me just explain why, right? Let me explain why it would be a hard time. Well, somebody's stupid enough to leave the body in their own car, right? Now, if you think about it, right?
he's 21, a child, never seen like a boob before until he started singing in some closet. And then they gave him a record deal and they gave him a place in where, you know, dreams come true in the city of fallen angels, you know? So,
Well, let's think about it, right? David, 21-year-old, right? He moves to Los Angeles from Texas, right? So he comes here. He's this big old superstar. He's living in a mansion that's not even his. He doesn't own it.
two houses. He got
Correct.
two places.
Correct. He had two places, right? So the 804 property will kind of just leave off on the side because there's always a possibility that, well, we know that Celeste was there, right? We know that she was there for sure because that was a stream house. That's where she was streaming at, right? But when she was alive, right? So we don't. The belief is that her body did not make it into the other house, right? And the reason behind that is because if you think about it, David moved from Texas all the way to California. But mind you, when he moved into that mansion, he didn't own this mansion, right? Nor was he the person on this lease. So he didn't have anything under his name, right? And I don't know if the 804 property was under his name or not, but I highly doubt it, right? So if you think about it, David didn't have anything of his own here in California except for his Tesla. That was the only thing that was under his name. So what? Now, mind you, they said that there was an inspection that took place January 19th. Now, if you think about it, that house could have been inspected by the homeowner, right? Malden Trifunovich. It could have been inspected by a property manager, other people, right? Now, there's absolutely no way that David would have stored her body in that house, right? If he knew that there was nothing that he could hide at any moment, if people were to come in and inspect the house.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, it's dumb enough that he had a burn cage and chainsaws delivered to his house, right? And mind you, they were
mean,
fake names.
Even though like the laws in California are like, the laws like no burn cages, no stuff like that. Honestly, really, anybody that is going to bring that up in court, they're just going to be like, look, it's just regular homeowner stuff. Like I got knives and chainsaw. Doesn't mean I slaughtered somebody. And I don't think that he didn't bring her into the house because people were going to come in and check, because that opens up another question. If he knew that people were going to go and check, then is the homeowner actually telling the truth, saying that he didn't know that David was there?
I wish I could answer that for you.
I mean, I'm trying to think like a little logically. It's like, you know what? He's probably saying that to cover his ass. But I think everything else is truthful. Like it put into other people's names and all this stuff. But, logically speaking, like he was young, came from a place that, came from a background of him not being, he wasn't even in school. Like he was this like an altar boy, like he wasn't an altar boy, but I'm saying he was like, a straight edge kid thrown into the throes of people doing cocaine every once in a while. It's like, it's a culture shock for him.
Yeah.
But because there was a lot put on him, and that he is an influence to younger generations, and he's got all these kids, his age and younger, backing him like, oh, you're so great, you're so great. He's like, oh well, I'm so great, I could fucking do whatever I want, and then
Yeah.
does something stupid.
And he did.
Yeah.
Or we're waiting to find out if that can be proven.
I 100% think he did it, or has, or not explicitly did it, but he fucking knows what happened, and that's the most that I want out of it, is like, well, what the hell happened to her? Like, because there's no way that you're getting out of this, even if you didn't do anything. This looks so bad that they're gonna throw something at you, dude. Like, you didn't say nothing. Yeah, you didn't say anything, rather, sorry. You didn't say anything since this happened. This girl, like, even if you didn't have anything to do with the murder, you still have something to do with you and her age difference. Like, what the fuck is this, dude? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, there's something wrong with you, obviously.
And we're gonna enjoy hearing him explain all of that, right?
Yeah,
Alexa,
if we even get to hear it,
Abraham, I brought you on there. Are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Welcome.
What's up,
really
brother?
quick, really quick. Alexa said, "Wonder if he made the trip to Santa Barbara thinking he would bury her there, but then something caused him not to. I don't know. That trip just seems weird to me." And you know what? I mean, we don't know anything about this whole Santa Barbara trip. I mean, TMZ brought it up, and then LAPD put out a post that said they are investigating it. There's a belief that she may have died in the spring, but anything beyond that is just speculation, right? Santa Barbara really is weird to me. I don't know what relevancy, or how that's relevant to the case, but I really hope we find out. And
This whole thing, this whole case is speculation, because we don't know anything. We don't know one thing, not one honest thing.
But if she died in the spring, her body would have been very decomposed by the time it was found. So I don't think she died in the spring. She died at most probably a month before the body was found.
Unless she was kept somewhere.
Unless her body was being preserved somehow.
Right.
Which is not impossible, right? There's always the possibility of that being true.
But there would have been evidence of it. The medical examiner would have noted frostbites on or the skin would have had some sort of,
Doesn't have to be a freezer. Doesn't have to be a freezer. It could just be a very cold fridge.
A freezer.
No. I mean, like, below freezing.
Yeah, but the body was still decomposed. You have to stop the decomposition.
Yeah, I mean, well, it was decomposed, and if she was dead, like, being in a trunk like that, you're gonna decompose real fast. Like,
Yeah,
real fast.
Which means if she had been out in the elements, but in this, by the spring till September, the fall, yeah, she would have been unrecognizable. They wouldn't have been able to put that body in the car because all the body fluids would have, exited the body. It would have been very difficult for them to carry that around. I think that they were probably trying to dismember her and found it more difficult than they thought, and just decided to get rid of her. But I just have a hard time accepting the fact that he is that stupid and to put her in his car. I mean,
I think he's the perfect person to do something that stupid. This guy's talking to people that are younger than he is.
But if he's that stupid, then we can't really blame him for being this mastermind of, coercing and,
Sure. Yeah, all the people that are murderers, that are super famous murderers, are all retarded somehow. They're all weirdos. They're all this or that. David. Like I said, people, David had a lot of people behind him saying that he was great. There was a lot of people behind him, a mentally deranged person, and maybe he wouldn't have even done anything if he wasn't even given the shot of being somebody. He would still be in his mom's house doing, I don't know, nothing. Never seen a boob in his life. It sucks. It sucks because, like, I totally understand, because it's so far out there. Like, how could someone actually do that? I think he shows every time there's something to do with David, just like him getting arrested today. He's like, got it. They're like, like if you fucking run, if you do something, we're gonna shoot you. We're gonna send a dog after you. He's like, yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. I'm just gonna open the gate up, bro. Like, dude, like, there's this girl that the whole world cares about, and you're the one fucking guy that could set it straight, and you're not doing that, and you're acting like a pompous ass. So
But
yeah, I
yeah,
think you.
but okay, but at the same time, you have to realize he has. It needs to be proven that he did it, and he has a right
Yeah,
to defend himself. And his attorneys advise him not to talk. We know attorneys always advise you not to talk without them.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we have to, we have to consider the fact that his attorneys are the reason why he's not talking. And
Yeah.
he hasn't been officially charged, so he cannot start talking without probably incriminating himself somehow because of the age that she was. There's no way that he did not know she was that young.
No,
It's
and
impossible.
that's the thing. It's like, how come they didn't get him before, just for that? You're like, aside from the murder stuff, but like, okay, well, we know that you're a pedophile.
Well, they
Like,
want to have
so,
make sure that they got all the evidence to bring on the charges. They don't want this person to then be let go. I
well,
think that
no,
he
that
was I think that he was trying to flee. That's why this arrest came so suddenly before the grand jury indictment. I
well,
think
they
that he
said
was trying to flee.
they're saying that it was a complaint, is why, and that's what I don't understand. It's
Yeah,
like
a complaint that he was trying to flee
like, yeah,
and avoid prosecution.
yeah, but they weren't even like they would have brought him in already. That grand jury, as far as it seems right now, is that the grand jury is like done and over with, and this is like something new. So like either someone in the police force like had one piece of evidence that they were working on, constant, and finally got something. And well, that's the thing, man. I don't know.
But
Like what
okay,
it.
look at this lady that got arrested at the airport before she was going to the Philippines. The she was in this big murder with the Florida. The what's her name? She just had a trial recently and was, convicted. She was found guilty.
I don't know
Damn
which
it!
one
With
that would.
the Markells, the professor that got killed in Florida by the family, and somebody in the chat must know who I'm talking about.
Chris?
No, the Adelson lady, Donna
Okay.
Adelson. They arrested her at the airport because she was attempting to flee, and that's when all the charges then came. All of a
Yeah.
sudden, they didn't just arrest her that day because they only arrested her that day because she was going to flee.
Yeah, but David had already like once this had started, he left LA, went to Texas, and then we
No,
didn't
but
know where.
she was going to flee to to a country that has no extradition with the United States.
Yeah, okay, she's okay.
Him
I
the
don't know.
moon?
I think it's a little different with David because, like, I think and that's the main operative here is like thinking like the guy he had nothing to worry about. He was going back and forth. I don't know how long he was staying in LA recently, but like I don't think that it was a complaint that he was gonna flee. There was a complaint of something. So like what is this about and how is it going to uh you know I really think that there's a distinguishing line between what has been being worked on and what this is about. And I think they're gonna try to maybe you know what it is? He's probably online talking to other fucking younger children again or something like that, and they got him. They're like, okay, well now we have this on you, which coincides with
But
Celeste
but
being a young
okay,
person.
but would that warrant an arrest all of a sudden, or wouldn't that just serve as more evidence to the grand jury?
No, I know. I think it. Well, that's the thing. I want clarity on what this complaint is. Like, like what is their not the term. What is their definition of complaint? Because it sounds like he was making a hell of a lot of noise, or he's got a complaint after him because he keeps telling his neighbor he's gonna fucking kill them or something. Like this guy's unhinged, so they have a complaint filed on him, and they go and arrest him. And knowing what kind of things he's already being accused of, they send, like the whole. I thought they were gonna shoot. He could have fucking farted wrong when they were arresting him, and they would have fucking sicked the dogs on him. Those dogs, man, they wanted him. Fuck, and he was just like all nonchalant. It's just a little weird, like, and you could tell there's like body language is not a viable thing to rely on, because body language is too iffy. It's been proven now. But like the guy is arrogant, and he's been built up way too much, and I think that shows that he probably did one or two or many wrong things, or continues to do wrong things, because he thinks he's above, like, even though he was like, his lawyers must had probably told him to keep quiet of everything. But holy shit, that was a long fucking time, man. You couldn't at least come out and say, like, like, until I get my day in court to tell everybody what's going on, like, I do want to send love to the family, and leave it at that. It's something. It's something. It's not the
You
best
can't,
thing.
because it can then be used against you in court. Then you're putting out a narrative.
So First Liberties podcast shared with us the legal definition of a complaint is a formal pleading to a court to begin a case. What is that? Finger red number 1? Oh, the foam hand. Like, what?
Okay. So, okay.
That means that there's an investigation. That's what the complaint is.
Yeah. Well, what it means, they're ready for him. It's not the grand jury part that we've been kind of hearing about. I'm pretty sure that this is like his trial for something. So they have something. Somebody has something. I don't know if it's from the grand jury, but somebody has something.
The LAPD definitely has something, which was more than enough for them to go to a judge and say, look, hey, we got this information and we want you to sign this, for probable cause, so we can go and get this guy.
Yeah. And I think that what that was, it was him fleeing. We have reasons to suspect that he is going to flee and avoid prosecution. And the judge can sign it on those bases. I think that's what happened with Donna Adelson. That's why they arrested her that day.
So let me share with you guys something that somebody sent to me too. This was a comment that was left under a video on YouTube, but let me make sure that I find it, because when I read this, I thought this was hilarious. Where is it at? All right, you guys are gonna have to keep talking until I find it, because I thought this was.
Give your dog a bone. Give him a treat.
I know, right? Let me see.
Abraham.
Huh?
I said, give your dog a treat.
Oh, I gave him. He's already got 2 already. He's celebrating because David got arrested.
Fuck yeah. I'm gonna try to steal my cat.
Anyway, I think the comment mentioned something along the lines of David was training with somebody in the house to be prepared to fight off law enforcement if they entered.
Oh God, I don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't believe that either.
He weighs all about like 120 probably. Those cops are like 3 times his weight.
I don't even understand the logic in that. Like,
yeah, what would be the purpose of that?
No, I think he was probably working on something, a project for someone else. Like I said, his name might be shit, but you pay him $50,000, he'll write you one of his shit songs.
I'm not listening to it. Are you?
Dude, I don't think I've ever listened to any of his songs.
I'm so well. Look, like I'm a big Prince fan, and I said it before, and someone was like, "How could you compare him to Prince?" And I was like, "I'm not comparing him to Prince, but look at this. Like, he's a young kid. He's obviously talented. He's not rapping. He's a black kid, and he's not rapping. Like, he has so much potential, and this murder, kind of shtick thing that he was working on. If he didn't do this, everyone would be saying, "Oh, that's really cool." But since he did this, it's like, oh, he kind of shit all over it. And then you get a lot of people that are coming out, and it's like they say the satanic panic all over again. Like, oh, Satanist stole my baby, and drank its blood. I'm like, like, no, dude, it's one, bad banana out of the bunch. Sorry, like, I want to see that and I wanted to. I was like, this David guy. Oh, this is interesting as a musician. I'm like, this is fucking cool. You know, like a songwriter.
Yeah, I may not
you know,
like his music or be a fan of it, but I mean, there's something there because obviously people liked it. So I'm not going to discredit that.
it was working, but the thing is it didn't come from the artist himself. He's manufactured this guy. You know, like they manufactured him into, like he couldn't even put out his record because they didn't like it. So he had to like rewrite it, and then that didn't work. And then he finally came on this sort of, he came upon this subject. You know, like he created an alter ego, which is cool. You know, like and all this stuff, and it's all really cool. Sorry, David, you ruined it. You know, like, and then I feel bad too because I'm looking for that in music because music today is not that great. Country music sucks. You know, like the rock stuff is not good. You know, like not there's no like meat and potatoes anymore, and like someone that's actually like, you know, pushing a boundary sort of. I keep comparing him with Alice Cooper. You know, like because of the death thing. You know, but Alice did it proper, and he was actually the preacher's son. David is, you know, like comes from this religious background, but I don't know, man. Like, I, I don't know.
The son of an attorney, isn't he?
Yeah, I thought, and is his
He's a
mother in the church? That's church
litigation consultant, if I'm not mistaken. Not necessarily an attorney, but I just want to let everybody know, give everybody an update that David is now in the system. We're looking up the sheriff's department's jail roster, and he is now on here. So you can see that his inmate number is 7221640. We got David Anthony Burke, male, black. Charge level is a felony. He weighs 125 pounds, you guys.
I was close.
You guys, David weighed just as much as Celeste did before she died.
Yo, he's gonna be some good pocket. He's gonna be a good jail wallet in.
This guy was all but 5 foot nothing and 125 pounds.
But it'll be like a while before he's put into general population.
So he was arrested today at 5 o'clock. He was arrested by the LAPD robbery and homicide division. He was booked into the jail at 10:12, so literally almost a little over 2 hours ago. And then LAPD 77th Street. Total bail amount is no bail, no hold, no bail. Housing location, LAPD. Permanent housing assigned on this date. He was assigned at 10:12. Oh Lord!
In California, usually when you are arrested for murder, I don't think you get a bail, right? I think that's why they charged him with that. Well, made the arrest under the suspicion of murder, so that he wouldn't get a bond.
Someone's saying that people are saying that he's really short, like 5.
Well, here it says 505, so I don't know if that means 5'5".
I'm 5'5". So, but the best rock stars are very short. Freddie Mercury was short. Ronnie James Dio was short. Michael Jackson, Prince, everybody. Those guys.
I wonder if he was wearing
life.
heels. He was wearing heels when he got when they measured his height.
They were holding him up like.
Yeah, they're holding him up for his photo, right?
Yeah,
this is crazy. This is insane.
No, it's good. What he did is insane. He deserves this. He deserves this. And I think, and also too, like in a sickening way, I'm going like, yeah, you fucking deserve this because you're a trash musician. I don't need people like you in this world making it fucking harder for me to make it somewhere where, like you get all this shit for free. And then I had to bust my ass, like becoming an overnight success. He didn't do that. He didn't play the fucking clubs.
It's really sad that he did all this allegedly because he had a good thing going for himself. I thought I kind of didn't want to believe that somebody would jeopardize, and risk all that, for some nonsense. But here we are.
Yeah. Dumb kid. The dumb kid.
Very dumb, because a lot of people would you know, literally killed to be in his position with the
Yeah.
record deal that he got.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like it's like so hard to get a record deal these days, being an honest musician, you know, like to be a session, just to be a session musician, you know, like that's like that's nothing visual, you know, like they don't need to put a ton of money behind you to set up social media and give you interviews and this, just to be a session musician, to go and play the guitar for the pop stars is hard to get into, because
Yeah.
all the money right now is in hip hop. And that's not a bad thing, but like look at the state of hip hop. It's, I feel that that's been taken complete advantage of, just because you could rhyme.
Well, he
And you
was
know,
doing something different. He
Look,
was doing
even
something
that's
that
what I mean. He had something interesting.
and the
I thought.
majority of these hip hop artists, though, they're not even making a ton of money, you know. And the reason why I say that is because if you take a look at a lot of the rappers now, those who have a large name, you know what they're doing right now is they're linking up with a ton of streamers, and they're starting to stream themselves.
Yeah, well,
Because
look at Coachella. Like people were there was someone saying like I think it was Sloan. I was watching a video that he was like, "Oh yeah, I went to Coachella." And like usually, you know, like the people that are playing the show, like you're let's say Sabrina Carpenter or whatever, you know, you're seeing an artist and they'll bring out another musician, but it seemed like they were all bringing out like actors and actresses, and it's like, the fuck are you doing here? You don't play music. Like, yeah, okay, it's nice to see, you know, Will Ferrell, but like it'd be cooler if you maybe brought out Stevie Nicks or something and sang a song together.
or
why would
just
they bring out an actor?
I don't, because everything is very visual these days, and it's been leading sort of up to this, starting with MTV. You know, like it's very visual. But the thing is like the music was good and it stayed sort of in the world of music. Not a lot of artists went and turned into movie stars, but a lot of these artists, a lot of people don't even really know their music, but they know who Sabrina Carpenter is. She's, you know, fucking sexy. She's a Scientologist, but she's sexy. But I don't know one song of hers, you know,
Me
like,
either. Oh my god, she's a Scientologist? I forgot.
yeah, dude, they infiltrate everywhere.
Oh, tell me
I
about
didn't know that.
Yeah, man.
Tammy says, I think it is for child abuse of one of the girls that she had receipts on. Very
it.
possible.
That who had receipts on?
That one of the victims had receipts on.
But again, but wouldn't they just have presented that to the grand jury?
That's what I mean. I feel like this, like it's still involved, but I think it's something completely different.
Also, so remember one of the last tweets that SF put out, I think it was in the interview that he did with Ashley Banfield. He said that one of the minors went to law enforcement, but they kind of just like didn't really do anything about it. They said that they'd get back to her, and according to SF, they haven't gotten back to her. So I don't know.
You know what I didn't know, like till today, that I thought the body bags that people were talking about, I thought that was like law enforcement that placed her in body bags. I didn't realize she was already in body bags.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
she was.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the first. As soon as I heard that they were legit body bags, I was like, "Where the hell did you get that?"
I know.
Like
Well,
that's
apparently, so here, watch. Let's go to Amazon really quick, right? Because you can. Let me see. You can actually buy cadaver bags on Amazon, and they're not expensive at all, right? So this one looks fairly similar to the one that was found. Let me see.
they call it a sleeping camping bag.
Human body bag, cadaver bag. It could be similar to this, right? Something like this. Now this one just looks like one of those tarps that you throw over like a canopy or something. But
Alien babies, you know, they sell them, you know, in case you want to commit a murder or something. Amazon's got everything, dude.
Like, who the hell's buying body bags? That's crazy.
Look, the only body bags that I've ever dealt with have been white. And when I tell
Yeah.
you, like this one right here, right? And I have placed
Out of all the stuff that he may have ordered, this is the weirdest. Like this is the one I'd put emphasis on. Like not the.
If I ever go to a friend's house and I see a body bag, that's my cue to reconsider that friendship and leave.
Hey man, maybe they're just like they just want to do a little murder on you.
He was an artist, though. He could have been using it, wanting to use it for a music video, right? He had coffins and caskets.
Could have been a sex thing.
Wouldn't that have been delivered to the studio or something?
It should have, right? But it wasn't. But also remember, keep in mind, right, that the burn cage was delivered to his house, and apparently the name that was on there, so it's a real name, but it's not. It wasn't anybody that lived in that house, and I don't know. I can't talk about it.
You know how you were mentioning like the stuff about the house not being in his name? That's perfectly normal for artists that are up and coming. Nothing is ever under their name.
Oh yeah, 100%.
David is guilty. Says, what kind of singer brings out a casket at all? Though I don't know. Did you see Iggy Pop? Man, at the end of there's a video out there. At the end of his show, they're playing this song and they're all bopping, and they bring out this casket, and Iggy gets into the casket, and he like looks at everybody, and it's the end of the show. They're gonna bring him out on this. He died on stage, like so.
But all of that.
He closes the thing of the casket, and then he just like peeks out and waves to everybody in the audience. So like that's another thing. It's like this stuff that puts like an X on like all the showmanship kind of stuff. It's supposed to be you getting out of your normal. Don't go to a concert and see the guy living next door. They're supposed to look crazy and nice and dead, like and all this stuff. What sucks is that it was him that did it, and he killed this young girl. So put the emphasis on him being a piece of shit and not on what artists do live or sing about and all this stuff.
Well, that's part of his shtick, no? The morbid and the casket and all that.
Yeah, and it was cool until he actually fucked it up.
I don't know. I think maybe if it wasn't him, then it was somebody who had access to his car and he. But I don't know. That's just like can somebody really be that dumb to put her in your damn car?
Well, I mean, regardless of how long she was in that car, yes, he's that dumb to have her dead in there in body bags. So
and then leave the car just laying around there like it wasn't going to be found.
That's where I'm like, someone was supposed to come and help him, and they didn't.
And they didn't, yeah.
So, but I mean, like, I don't know if anybody is stupid enough to leave a dead body in their car for so many months there. But I mean, just to have him, just to have him, in the car one day. Yeah, he's definitely stupid enough to do that because he obviously did it.
Okay, but when was the car parked there?
July 29th.
And when was it towed?
September 5th.
So it was out there for over a month?
So remember, July 29th to when her body was discovered, it was a total of 41 days. 41 days.
Jesus Christ.
From when it was towed?
No, from when her body was discovered. So what? 38 days. From July 29th to when it was towed, which was September 5th, would have been 38 days.
Hold on. But when isn't there video of the car being moved and then these people like going on a bus tour or something?
Yeah, well, there is video, but it hasn't been made public. This is all per reports coming from Steve Fisher, right?
And that was when the car was placed there.
July 29th.
July 29th. Okay. And then wasn't it moved once before it actually got towed? Like one time after that?
I think I have the documents. Let me see if I can pull that up really quick. Let me see if I can find it.
You know what's crazy is that there was 2 bodies in 2 different cars, and they may not be connected, but I have not heard one thing about that other body.
And that body was discovered the very next day.
Which one?
That second body.
I thought it was on the same day.
No, they're 1 day apart.
Oh, okay. Still,
Yeah,
that's really
September
ironic.
9th was when the second body was discovered, which was very, very odd.
Yeah, it's like even if it's not connected, it's kind of like, hey, but also we have not heard anything.
Nothing at all.
Yeah,
Nope.
really, really weird.
Trying to find the document.
Someone said that I sound like I'm mad that he got that. I sound mad because he was busted. No, I'm mad from a musician's point of view that this guy had a lot of potential and screwed it up. But also, you have to think of it like clearly there was definitely people helping him, and the dumb
Yeah.
kid was stupid enough to not do something right, and that's what got him. Like, I'm definitely mad. I'm mad at a million things, and Celeste too. But I'm mad at her family because there's not a lot of I think too many people are speculating on the wrong things. I think that all of the blame, not all of the blame, that's a wrong turn of phrase. I think that no, like people are ignoring the record company. People are ignoring the management.
I don't think the record company had anything to do with it. They're not gonna. A record company is not gonna jeopardize their reputation for this.
Oh yes, they. But no, you know how much money they put on behind him. They're like, you got to fucking clean this up. You better
But
clean this up.
yeah, but it's not like he's this big mafia person that's gonna have the ability to clean it up. So unless
That's not. They are. And they always have been.
I think they have more to lose by doing that than just letting it go and considering it a loss as an investment.
If he told them about it, yeah, which I think he went to his manager, and his manager started because like now that he's not like now that okay, like his manager, let's say theoretically, I'm not saying this happened, but this is how I imagine it happening. David goes to his manager, says, I killed a girl. And his manager goes, well, you got a tour starting tomorrow. So like, and then he calls his guys at the record company and they work with the manager and clear him. And it's aside from David. And this is all stuff that happens in the back room. Like, and then David's there to sort of fend for himself, but he's not really fending for himself because if he was, and they actually let him deal with this on his own, they would have gotten him with something way earlier than they did.
But if that was the case, then they would have just swept everything into the rug. I mean, they would have just
That's exactly what they were trying to do.
Gentlemen, continue the conversation really quick. I'm just gonna step out really quick to grab a drink, grab some water. I'll be right back.
I like the record company does that, and it's. I was telling Flojo that like just watching music documentaries and stuff, like they tell you a lot of stuff that they help clear up.
I would agree that they they do some damage control when it comes to perhaps a fight with a domestic abuse or drinking and driving or stuff or something like that. I would understand that, but as far as this, I don't know. I don't think so.
I think so. They're not the. I think they were putting a lot of money behind him, and like maybe I'm wrong. Like I'm not saying that this actually happened or anything, but I'm saying that it's so far in the realm of possibility that we can't be ignorant to the fact that like the way that things are being covered up and everything's slow and like the law enforcement is like grasping on like the smallest things because they're not getting help from nobody. They're not getting help from David, nobody, because the cover up, the PR is immaculate. And if David did the right thing, well, not
but okay,
if
but
not if David did the right thing. If David moved properly the way that they told him to move, then all this stuff, she would have just been another body somewhere that they found and have no ties with anybody.
Okay, but the perception to the public would have been something different if that were true, because the record company would then have them doing, kept going business as usual and pretend that it wasn't happening. That
That's
would
what they
make
were.
sense. But they
That
weren't. They weren't because they immediately. I mean, the moment that the sponsors pulled out, he had to stop the tour. That is not up to him. It's not up to the record label. It's up
no,
to
no,
the
no,
sponsors.
no. He didn't stop the tour. He stopped it like a little bit after because
Yeah, because
they found his.
the sponsors pulled out, and they're the ones who bring in the money.
No, no,
Without them,
no.
you can't do the
He
tour.
he still had the dates. He canceled himself. But the day that they found the Tesla, he was playing a show that night. And I think he played another couple nights after that. And then finally he stopped and he went radio silent. So they were like, yeah, you keep going at, okay, so, let's think of it. Maybe they didn't know. They're like, okay, you have nothing to do with this. Then you have nothing to worry about. You do go talk to the cops when you have to. You keep doing the fucking tour. They don't care about nobody. They care about that money because we put $10 million into you. And so far with this tour, you've only covered about 5 point whatever,
Yes. Yes,
you
but
know,
if the
like
public thinks that you actually did this and that you're responsible based on the videos that you put out there, then the sponsors are risking, losing their money. Because if the people are no
he's
longer going to support him, then they're not going to attend the concerts. That's money they're losing.
he's a musician though. They're not sponsoring his concerts. He was being
Yeah, his
sponsored.
tour. They sponsor. You need sponsorships to do tours.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I
You
Well,
mean,
then,
you you get
you
sponsored.
can, right? I mean, you
You get
can.
sponsored. It looks better when you have Budweiser sponsoring the tour, but you're already out on the tour, and they go to these people and say, "Hey, ZZ Top is going out on tour. Does Jim Beam want to sponsor the American gigs?" Because that tour is still going to come to Canada, and Jim Beam's not going to sponsor that part of the tour.
Well, we don't know. I mean, who he had sponsored, right? I'm sure he had some sort of backing with maybe Fortnite, right? Because those were some of the bigger platforms that he was on. I don't know if YouTube ever sponsored anything that he did, but I think the tour that he did, he had enough pull to do it on his own, right?
He had enough to play shows.
He had enough pull, from the younger generation to do this concert without having any sponsorship. So
Yeah, that too. It's like it's hard to kind of think of it because he's not playing for like uh younger adults and older, he's really on the radar of these younger kids, and these younger kids are being proven to keep secrets, obviously, with the fucking Roblox and whatever bullshit and these weird, fucking people that are targeting them. Like how fucking sick do you have to be to do that shit, you know
I mean, the music industry has a ton of secrets that we'll never know the truth behind.
Oh
Um,
no, not that. I mean, like the people in Roblox
um,
targeting kids, telling them to kill their cats and shit on camera. Like for what? That's weird. That's so weird. Not all.
that goes a little bit deeper. I mean, it probably started on Roblox, but it goes deeper, traces back to that group that everybody's been talking about. The
Yeah,
three
no. But I'm saying
three
like
member group.
it's hard. It's not hard now. It's easier to realize that this guy was bigger in a age demographic that we didn't know about it, considering of all this stuff that is coming out about these games that they're playing and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and it's really part of that culture to keep it quiet, and you could join this Discord or this whatever, show me a picture of your underage boob, and then kill your cat. If you want more Roblox, kill your cat on camera, like commit suicide, like what the hell?
Yeah.
Ozzy wasn't telling you to go kill yourself. Never did.
Let me make sure that I shout out people who supported the channel because I don't know if I did, but Veronica became a member of the inner circle, so welcome. And then I don't know what to put here, so I put this name. What is a super chat? £2, so thank you for that. And then Sasha donated a super chat of £9.99, so thank you for that. Thank you for supporting the channel. Woo, you guys were on fire tonight. Tonight was crazy, you guys. Tonight has been a show. Go ahead, Brandon.
Oh no, someone's saying that Ozzy glorified it. He never did. Go listen to his albums. If anything, when he was in Black Sabbath, he glorified doing drugs, and I think he should do drugs too. Sorry, like they're great. Go make some music, write about the real world. But he was a Christian, and always sang about Christianity. And he never sang about killing you or anybody. He sang about things that could kill you and to fight those demons. But no one understands because no one actually puts these records on. They just go, oh, it's evil, it's bad. It's not. It's not. The most holiest people that are preaching to you from the TV are evil, not Ozzy.
Fair point. Fair point. You guys do me a favor.
Someone is asking where he was arrested in a house in LA, some house.
So I think the people of the Reddit world have identified where. Let me see if we can find it.
They said that he was on Marmont Street, and I was wondering if that was close to Chateau Marmont.
You know, it very well could be. So let's see. What's his name? Matt Thibodeau put out a video. Let's go ahead and check this out really quick. See if he's got anything new to share.
This is another one of David's friends who has reportedly been subpoenaed to testify in front of this grand jury.
Wait, hold on. Is this new? No. I apologize. Justice for Celeste, you guys. Justice for Celeste. You guys, this emoji looks familiar to you guys, right? Drop one of these in the chat. Drop one of these in the chat. Looks like the house has been identified. Looks like it's been identified as Sandra Bullock's house. Wow.
The kid's still employed.
Her old house?
I'm assuming it would be an older home. Maybe not her current place.
Obscure my view from the gate.
You'll be hit with non-lethal, and it's gonna hurt.
They should have accidentally dropped a pallet. Hit him with a pallet.
Imagine if they just let the canine out on him. Let the canine out on him.
Yeah, we won't do nothing. Get him right in the fucking balls.
We wanted this to take place the day after her body was discovered. We wanted this to take place on Valentine's Day, on his 21st birthday, but we got it on April 16th.
That's what I'm saying, man. They would have got him right after if there wasn't a good enough cleanup crew. Because someone was going, no, you know, you can't do that. The guy's on tour, you know, like, just talk to him. And they did. They went to go see him. They talked to him, whether it was at the show or not, somewhere. They had to have gone to see him once they found out it was his car. And he was like, nah, it's not me.
Alexa, thank you for becoming a member of the Inner Circle. Welcome, 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 welcome. Obsidian, you're still awake. Oh my God, Obsidian, you are. Uh-oh. No school tomorrow? Type a 1 in the chat if you guys got work tomorrow. Who's got work? From a mansion to a cell, says David is guilty. Felicia's got work tomorrow. Hey. I really don't like that StreamYard does not show custom emojis. This is not cool. StreamYard's got to fix that. But anyways, Alexa, thank you for becoming a member and supporting the channel. So, who else could be arrested? Who are some potential other
whoever moved that car?
Yeah. If that's not someone we know already, because I know that David's probably going to say something about some of the people that we know already. But if someone helped them that's out of the public eye and has not been named yet already, we're not going to become privy to anybody else. Not saying that there isn't, because I think that someone definitely helped him. I don't think that it was that circle of friends that he had. I think they were just, you know, the regular hangers-on. that were trying to get a deal somewhere here and there and saying, "Oh, I'm friends with David," going to the parties and whatever. But whoever fucking helped him,
I
you
think it
know,
was a close friend. It had to have
yeah,
been. I
yeah.
mean,
Outside of the music realm, I'm pretty sure. Not because I think that it's I just think that whoever he went to see in Santa Monica or Barbara or wherever the hell he went, that person is the one that helped him.
Felicia, thank you for hanging out. Have a good night. Get your rest and have fun at work tomorrow. Ranch and Toes, you start at 5:30. You are great. And it's 4 a.m. and you have not gotten to sleep. Oh, I am so sorry. I'm sorry we kept you awake. But you guys, Kadisha Lynn dropped a video, so let's hear what she has to say.
After all of this time, David has been arrested for the murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. David was arrested today by the LAPD Robbery and Homicide Division, and he is currently being held without bail. Now, this information is just now coming out, so there isn't a lot of information, but what we do know is the fact that they are holding him on no bail until Monday, where they present the case to the district attorney. One thing I will be interested to find out is how they are going about these charges, because we do know, based off the grand jury documents that leaked last month because of David's parents fighting the subpoenas in a Texas court, they were looking to try to charge David under premeditated murder.
Rancher Toad, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. Girls are definitely going to be writing him love letters in prison. And I hope the boys write them too.
Of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. So I will be interested to find out if that is still the case in the way that they are charging David. It seems like they might not even have relied on the grand jury for an indictment, because it seems like the LAPD just straight arrested him, since it is saying that they are presenting the case to the district attorney's office on Monday. And if that is in fact the case, that is a big deal, because that means LAPD got some type of evidence where they believe it was enough to charge David with the murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. As you know, it has been 7 months now since Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found in the front of David's Tesla. And it finally looks like we are one step closer to hopefully getting justice for Celeste Rivas Hernandez. As more information comes out, you guys know I will definitely be following this case very, very closely. Y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
In the comments.
Premeditated murder is what she said they got him on. How did that? Where did that come from?
yeah, that you need a lot of proof for that.
Yeah, all we got is the complaint and his admittance to jail. Like, that'd be nice, like.
I
But
mean, isn't it the DA the one that is the one that charges, that chooses to charge and what to charge him with?
right, but it doesn't. It sounds like they're. I mean, he's without bail, so I mean, it's plausible. But it's just like, where did that come from?
They're gonna hold his ass until pretrial. That's just hold on to him. Just lock him up. Throw away the key.
Yeah, pretty much, man.
I thought California had no bond if you're accused of murder, like if that's what you're being arrested for.
That's a First Liberties podcast question. And he said 187A means malice aforethought. This doesn't specifically mean premeditation. It means you consciously chose to take human life. First Liberties podcast is always coming through. So much insight. So thank you, Joe. Thank you for sharing. This. You know what? Once evidence starts to come out, I guarantee you that everything that we learn is going to blow our minds. This is going to be, if you thought some of the stuff that SF has given us was crazy, just imagine the stuff that's going to be uncovered in the evidence.
What do they have for evidence? I mean, it sounds like they've been trying to build something on not hearsay, but a step above that. Were they like, they took all of his electronics and stuff? Like obviously they cracked it and they were able to get through it. They would have had something. They would have. That's what I mean. They would have grabbed him a lot earlier. Like, so what is, like? It's really confusing.
Yeah,
They want to get him, but Like they got to really. This is gonna be like a magical trial because Diddy, they had shit on him, like, and it's crazy.
So first celebrities podcast, because this abrupt arrests have come from him trying to flee.
To be held without bail, the evidence of any felony has to be overwhelming and create a presumption the defendant is a threat to the general public. Like
Sean Combs.
Yep. Wow.
I don't know. It just sounds like, I think, in my opinion, it sounds like they think this stuff. Therefore, he could be a threat to the public. But that's what I mean. It's like, why now? Like, it's still very vague. Everything is very vague.
We're gonna find out. I'm sure we're gonna find out a lot on Monday. Maybe not everything that we want to find out, but we're gonna find out on Monday.
I actually hope they come and say something tomorrow.
Hopefully. If I'm available on Monday, we'll be there for a press. He also needs a bail hearing first. No.
Well, that's why he goes in front of a judge.
First Liberties podcast said, "Why now is a great question. Could be something brand new."
That's what I think.
No mugshot at the moment. If anybody can find one, let me know. I would love to see his mugshot.
I don't know. I'm kind of sick of seeing his face, dude. Like, he's getting a hell of a lot of, like, his stuff is selling a lot. And that's why I'm saying, like, he's still employed. Because, his stuff is selling a lot because people still like it. Whoever's hearing it, someone obviously is liking it. So he's still got worth as a, not as a performer himself, but as a background something. He's good at something. Maybe it's not writing songs. He could have been working with someone on how to be better at Fortnite or whatever the fuck. I don't know.
Hold on, I found some photos. Not the mugshot, but Reuters posted some photos. This is interesting. Wow.
Anybody know who's living in that house? In Sandra Bullock's old house? Who's in there right now?
No, hold on. Let me check with let me check with some people, see if they have something.
Not too long ago, I heard somewhere, like, it was some celebrity that had bought that house. Who was it?
That
So-
one that he was in?
Yeah, well, if it's Sandra Bullock's, I remember seeing something not related to this, of course, but just they mentioned that someone had bought the old house of Sandra Bullock, which I think was also Halle Berry's before that.
Okay, I was gonna say, was it Halle Berry?
No, because I think Halle Berry owned it first, then Sandra, then somebody else.
Oh, okay.
Let's take a look at this house. So, hold on. Let's see. It's a nice house. Hold on. Let me make sure that this is it. It's a $3.5 million house. Okay. Let me just get the photos and then we'll share. So these are some of the first looks of the house that he was arrested at.
Anybody else find it funny that he was, found by these? He found success by coming out of his closet.
This is a nice house, though. Shit.
A nice house. He was probably renting it, probably.
Who are the owners? Let me see. $17,000 a month.
I can check. I wonder if does California use the MLS?
Yeah.
They do?
For photos?
No, the MLS for like realtors for houses and list
Yeah,
houses.
yeah.
They do? Oh, maybe I could log into my MLS and check who owns it. Hold on.
He's pretty bum. He's baby. You know, if anyone has anything to say about evil spirits and stuff, look at R. Kelly, man. Stuck in that closet, you know, like this guy's finding his songs in the closet. Like, come on. You know, like maybe that's the real evil of you know. That's anyway, whatever.
Isn't R. Kelly in jail?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. I don't know. It's funny because I was just watching that video where he was crying during that interview.
I can't believe you caught me for raping these girls. I can't believe it. You think I would do that? I would, but can you believe it? He's just ridiculous.
R. Kelly.
Do you have the address to the house?
This one is 1615 Marmont. Nice house. Jesus.
It might be if it's close to Chateau Marmont, then that is very close to the Strip.
They said, hold on, let me see if I can Google Maps.
Yeah, it was weird that he was making music in his sister's closet. Like, what the fuck? Like, I wonder if his sister like ever came home and taking a nap, and then all of a sudden she's like, "What the fuck are you doing in my closet? Get the fuck out of here!"
Wasn't he in there like for the acoustics though?
Probably.
He was in there, yeah, he was in there for some reason, one thing or another.
Yeah, Obsidian said, I thought it was always weird. He always talked about making music in his little sister's closet. Yeah. Yep. He always talked about it in every interview, right?
Yeah, that's a little weird, bro. You know, like you just hang out in your sister's closet, dude. I can't even go into my sister's room. Like,
did he not have his own closet?
There's too many skeletons in his own closet.
Yeah. Let's see. Hold on. So 1615 Marmont. Oh, this is it, for sure the location. So, wow, this house is literally right off the Sunset Strip. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Chateau Marmont is like super famous. John Belushi died in there. Marilyn Monroe had a room in there. That's where her and JFK were meeting up.
So here, let me just share this really quick. So here is the Chateau Marmont, and this is the location. This was the house.
Holy fuck.
This is literally, I mean, you can consider it walking distance. But here we go, you guys. This was it. This is crazy.
The one he was arrested from?
What's that?
That's the one he was arrested at?
Yep. So here, let me see.
That looks like a horror movie house. Like,
so if you see this photo right here, I don't know how much you can. Damn, people on Reddit are undefeated. These people are crazy. Hold on, let me see. I have some people on Discord sharing some photos. So let me save this really quick.
Someone said that he was in there for 7 months straight, and if that's true, then that reaffirms my saying. Like, this guy was walking around with Angel's tits on his shoulders. Because, like, how could you, like, why? What is? It makes no sense. Stay at your mama's house, dude.
Look at this one right here. So this is so here, let me go back to this video right over here. Right, hold on. This one, so as you can hear him, right? Listen to him talk. Oops.
Look, it's gonna obscure my view from the gate. It's good.
I got you.
If you try to run, you'll clean out on premises and you will get bit. I got you. All right, so the gate is locked. You want to open the gate?
Undefeated for sure.
Open the gate.
And so this is the gate that he was talking about. Where's the photo at? This one right over here. The black gate is obscuring my view. So he's definitely talking about this one right here. So it must have been this neighbor here who saw everything. This is crazy, y'all. This is crazy.
I don't know, man. It looks like someone was filming from upstairs of
Yeah.
the house that he's coming out of.
So let me see. We go back to this part right here. Let me see. This video isn't the clearest. Let me see. So he's right here. He literally like has his hands up, and I don't know if there. So you can see here. This is his left arm. This is his right arm. This is his head. Oh wait, hold on. This is his left arm right here. This is his right arm right here. This is his head. So he's got his hands up. He's got both of his hands up right over here. And he's saying that the black gate is obscuring his view.
Look, it's gonna obscure my view from the gate. It's good.
And then I rock. Thank you for your $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Why was he homeschooled? That is a question that a lot of people have been wanting to know for a long time. I don't know if it's something that happened when he was in New York and then when he moved to. I just saw First Liberty's podcast about the jail socks. I don't know. Maybe something happened in New York, and his parents just thought it was a good idea for him to be homeschooled. Why? I don't know. I mean, he wasn't famous then, so let me see if I can get a better video. Okay, I don't know. This one's not any better. See this one right here. Let me. I don't know if you can see this right here, but this is left hand, his right hand, his head.
It's gonna obscure my view from the gate. It's gonna run, or if you try to resist, you will get hit with left feet or it's gonna hurt. I got you.
I got you.
If you try to run, you're clean out on premises and you will get bit. I got you. All right, so the gate is locked. You want to open the gate? Sir, open the gate.
And then we have this video right here. You guys remember this one?
Coming Melly in the town on the pavement. I'ma shoot him where he laying. I'ma shoot him while he down. Make his body hit the ground. I'ma murder all my friends. Call me Melly in the town. I'm not getting indicted. I'm shooting him on sight and what? He gonna pull up in a He gonna pull up and deny it. I might testify in court. Hey, Your Honor, I did not buy it. I did not even try it. I just wanted to rely it.
What a pompous asshole.
What's the address again?
1615 Marmont. 1615. That shower cap has another body inside.
That's where he keeps his brains because he ain't got none in his head.
Street or avenue?
Let's see. Avenue.
In LA?
Yep. 90069. Oh, here is this view right here of that gate.
All right, guys, it's 4:30. I'm gonna have to get out of here and do my
Brandon,
own stay-ons.
thank you so much for hanging out and joining the show. We appreciate you hanging out and sharing your insight.
Yeah, brother. I
Very
would like
much
to come on
appreciate it.
another time, anytime.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
It didn't come up. I don't think I have access to California listings, only Florida.
No worries. No worries.
Have a good night, guys.
Thank you, Brandon. Have a good night.
Anytime.
Thank you for hanging out. Alexa, after the show, I'm gonna post a link to the Discord on our members only community wall. So make sure that you check it out. And also, I will ask after this video is finished if you guys can come back and then hype the video. We had a ton of lovely guests. Abraham joined the show. Joe from First Liberties podcast joined the show and shared a ton of legal insight. So we do appreciate that as well. Abraham also all the way from Miami. It's 4:30 in the morning. He stayed up late with us and always staying up late every time we go on. So I appreciate that. And for now, I think that's going to be it. You know, we've been on for going on 4 hours, and majority of you guys have been here since the beginning. So I do just want to shout out everybody that supported the channel: Ranch and Toes, Coco Mom, Ronan, Preacher, and then I rock Cindy Lean. I don't know what to put here, so I put this name: Sasha, Alexa, Ranch and Toes again, M. DeBose, and then I rock. All of you guys, crazy day. Thank you guys for supporting the channel heavy today. Means a lot. It means a lot, you guys. And I do apologize because I haven't done a stream. I haven't been very active just because work has been crazy, and I'm just trying to catch up. In fact, after this, I'm not even going to sleep because I'm teaching my first CPR class tomorrow. I just got certified as a BLS instructor. So I'm teaching my first set of classes. So I need to make sure that I learn this lesson plan and this curriculum so I can teach. So anyways, that's going to be it for me tonight. All of you guys that have stayed here the entire time, thank you guys so much. Oh, Abraham left, but thank you, Abraham. Do me a favor, guys. Like this video. Hit the subscribe if you guys haven't subscribed already. We're 10 subscribers away from 1,600. So I appreciate it. Justin, you just woke up. But yes, we have just received some of the biggest news since the creation of my channel. Anyways, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. I do appreciate you guys for hanging out. God, I missed you guys. I miss you guys. But we'll definitely have to come back. I will be out of town this weekend, so probably won't be able to stream the rest of the week unless I have a chance to do it out of town. So maybe. Anyways, thank you guys. Raina, I just got your email too, so thank you for sharing that information. I'm going to post the Discord link on the community wall right after. So all of you new members, please make sure you guys go join. That's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I will see you guys another time. Love you guys. Peace.